football lives here.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
Go! Go! From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. All the games coming into the studio here, so Michael and Tom will keep their eyes across them in case there's any contentious decisions that the guys want us to have a look at. I'm sure VAR as ever will play a part in the games, but let's hope the football, the good play, was some great goals last week. Let's hope that's what we're talking about this afternoon between now and 7 o'clock on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Let's get to Alan Preston. Alan is up there at Tannadice this afternoon. Dundee United at home to St Mirren. Alan, what are you expecting from this one today?
I think it's very tight, a really tough one to call. Two sides evenly matched for me, so we'll just see how it pans out. Kenny, United, as we said in the interview, are going to a back three today after getting a good point at Ibrox last week. St Mirren have to pick their heads up. Losing a last minute goal in a game like that last week is really difficult, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. It's not about 200 or 300 St Mirren fans up, United fans out in numbers. Very cold, but blue skies above. We are almost ready to go.
I think the concern, Tom, for St Mirren fans right now would be the lack of goals scored.
They've got 5 goals in the league. Now they've only conceded 7, so their success has been built on their on how difficult it is to break them down. My concern for St Mirren is if they don't kind of pick up on the goal scoring rate. If they get a couple of injuries in defence, a couple of key injuries, they could be in trouble. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to slide down towards the bottom of the league here. St Mirren look to be in a very promising position, and Stephen Robinson, we've praised him to the hilt on this programme. But that looks pretty fragile to me. 5 goals scored, 7 conceded.
Yeah, of course, they've got that big semi-final at the start of next month at home to Motherwell. Actually, it's next weekend, isn't it? That one's on the Saturday. So full coverage of that, 5:30 start at Hampden Park on Sports. Motherwell away at Livingston this afternoon. Stephen Craigan is there for us. Stephen, where do you stand in this debate about Motherwell, the fantastic style of play, but not converting that into wins?
Well, I hear the word identity and philosophy and words like that thrown about, Kenny, but at some stage winning has to be part of that. I think what the manager has shown is he can set a team up to play well, he can organise them. His message across to the players is clear because they're following every word that he said. However, you also have to be a manager who finds a way to win games of football. I think you have to be flexible. You can't just be one-dimensional. I think that's what Motherwell have been at times. I look at Hearts at the top of the table. They can find different ways to win games of football. That's the tactic, and that's what you have to do as a football club. So hopefully they do it soon enough. What I would say is the pitch through here this afternoon hasn't been watered. It's sticky and it's dry, and it might just give Livingston a little bit of encouragement to go and press Motherwell that little bit more. But we're just kicked off. Motherwell, as we expect, they've got the hold of the ball. They're trying to dominate possession, and Livingston just keeping a good shape.
You look at Motherwell, Stephen. You know, I mean, obviously the 3-3 that Mikey referred to had given up 3-goal lead.
Goal, Ross County!
Oh, here we go.
Yes, Ian Old.
A minute and a half on the clock, Kenny. We've got the first goal, and it's a beauty from Scott Fraser. Dunfermline couldn't clear the lines, and the ball fell straight to Fraser, 18 yards out, and he lashed past Mason Munn. The ideal start for Tony Docherty. Ross County 1, Dunfermline 0.
And how much did they need that, Tom English? It's been a dreadful start of the season for County.
Yeah, what a start. How long was that? A minute? 2 minutes?
A minute and a half, yeah.
Minute and a half, wow. So, no, just to go back to Motherwell, it wasn't just that they gave up 3 goals against Hearts. You know, they conceded a 79th minute winner against Falkirk, conceded a 90th minute winner against Celtic, an 81st minute equaliser against Killie. That's a lot of points, Stephen.
12.
12, is it? 12, yeah.
I think it's from winning positions they've lost 12 points, which is huge. So clearly managing the game is an issue, or whether it's fitness, they seem to fatigue towards the end of games, or whether it's not being ruthless and clinical enough at the top end of the pitch. It's probably a mix of everything. But as a football manager, and he said it ahead of the game that the club have been in the top flight and they've been around for a long time, you have to find ways to win. You can't always just be predictable.
Goal, Ross County!
Wow.
Ross County 2-0 in front, Kenny. And it's a real shocker at the back for Dunfermline. They've been awesome in October, Dunfermline. They haven't conceded a goal. They've conceded 2 inside 3 minutes. Ronan Hale getting the better of Jeremiah Chelakoa-Millen. He squared for Jordan White, and he tucked beyond Mason Munn. Ross County 2, Dunfermline 0.
Yeah, I can get a GoPro and Neil Lennon in that dugout. He'll be going absolutely ballistic right now. What a start, a long journey up there. Some decent form, you'd have to say, in recent weeks. Of course, won that Fife derby last Friday evening, but a really, really sore one for them today. A long way back for his side. Let's get to the game at the Falkirk Stadium. Falkirk at home to Dundee. Ian McCall is there for us. You may have from Stephen Presley. What a remarkable result for them last Sunday.
Incredible and thoroughly deserved. I watched the game. Listen, they were nearly ahead inside the first minute, even before the Ross County goal. It was Simon Murray got round the back. It was just a bit of a smash. It fell to him. Goalie's made a good save, but then Trey Wrights knocked the corner in. And from here, I thought it was going into the back post. Nobody's touched it, and it's just went right across the face of the goal and out for a bye kick. There's only 3 or 4 minutes gone. Dundee could have scored already. Still 0-0.
Yeah, 2 goals already in the country, both in Dingwall. Scott Fraser in 2 minutes, Jordan White in 3 minutes, Ross County 2, Dunfermline 0, down in England, Chelsea 1, Sunderland 0, Garnacho that goal on 4 minutes. Let's then stay in the Championship. The 2 goals coming in Dingwall brought to us. Yes!
It's a goal for St Johnstone. They've gone ahead. This game is electric from the start. It's Saints ahead, and it's Cheeky Diabate with the header. Corner right hand side. Great leap. It was going all the way. The game has gone from end to end from the start, just as it's gone in the Ross County game. But it's the visitors, St Johnstone, who have to respond to what Patrick Gissel produced in this league. They have gone ahead. They lead Morton by a goal to 1-0.
Wow, what a start in the Championship then. Let's then get to the game at Starks Park. Wraith Rovers against Partick Thistle. Any such excitement for you there, Rory?
No, not quite yet, Kenny. It's still 0-0 as it stands. Not many, if any, goal mouth incidents at all to report. Partick Thistle did change ends. I think they won the toss. There's a really low-lying, glaring sun, so Wraith Rovers are having to contend with that as they try and play forward, but nothing to report yet. 0-0.
Right, that's the early goals then. We've been around the grounds. Alan, just to get your thoughts on Livingston, where do you see them this season? You were one of quite a few actually gave us Livingston as a surprise package. Didn't think they'd have too many relegation concerns this season. Al, where are you now on that?
I'm still going to stick with my hold on a minute, my summing up of what's been going on, Kenny. I think they're 5 points off the third. It's early on in the season. It's a bit like asking if Hearts can win the league. It's too early at the moment. Round about Christmas time I may change my mind, but I think they will have enough, but time will tell. Who goes down? You always ask us every year to pick someone. Most of the time Livingston have been in the Premiership, everyone's picked them and they've defied the odds and stayed up until last year, or the year before, sorry. So I'm just going to stick with them at the moment and see how they get on.
Who do you think would be getting dragged in the bottom?
I think Falkirk. Michael, I think Falkirk will be there or thereabouts. I think Livingston will be there or thereabouts. Possibly Dundee as well. That would be my 3.
Right, okay, we'll get more thoughts on that a little later on. I also want to look back on the pretty dreadful European performances, albeit Celtic fought back. Good second half performance on Brendan Rodgers' side to get the win. But
that second half performance from Celtic, I mean, had that not happened, I mean, talk about going into the biggest game of the season in quite possibly the worst shape, because they were staring at a defeat at home in Europe. Performance was so far off it. They'd already picked up 2 injuries inside the first half an hour to key players, by the way, because Ian Acho is out injured and Johnny Kenny's the only other striking option they've got. Now I know, obviously, I'm talking about just the squad in general. I know we've spoken before about Maeda can play through the middle, but he was doing that last season when he was in such fine form. You wouldn't want to be relying on that over the next however long Ian Acho's out. If Maeda comes back in and you're having to stick him through the middle because he's not in fine form. So they've got another major issue up top. Alistair Johnson's a big one because he's a real I'd class him as a leader of the team. He's a mainstay,
huge player,
and if he's out for an extended period of time, and then just to add insult to injury right at the end of the game, Carter Vickers. So the result is huge because it gives them that little bit of a feel-good factor to go into the game. Now, I just wanted to touch on, I think Ian McCall said it before, he expects Hearts to win. That's the thing that just changes the dynamic completely. That adds extra pressure to Hearts because there is an expectation. It's understandable, by the way.
Would you make them favourites for the game?
Probably slight favourites, yeah. Yeah, I probably would. Slight favourites. Because I still think, obviously, there's a great deal of fragility about Celtic. It's at home. Even when Hearts have not been particularly great, at home, because of the size of the park, because of the intensity of the crowd, you can generate momentum within the game. So I think Hearts have just got to get right up and at Celtic and try and physically dominate them early on in the game. And yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting game for all those reasons. Celtic are missing a number of key leaders within the team. They are quality-wise depleted as well, and Hearts couldn't be in better form going into the game.
And their best players haven't really turned up this season. Callum McGregor hasn't been Callum McGregor. Rio Hatate hasn't been Rio Hatate. Hearts are flying, 19 goals in the league. There's goals all over the team. Everything is moving forward very, very positively for Hearts.
All of that.
I know what you're going to say.
What?
Sometimes the pressure takes, and Celtic could find something from adversity.
Well, I was just going to say, all of that, I would imagine, psychologically for Celtic is a bit of a sort of it's fueling the fire. In terms of how often have we seen over that's why, see, tomorrow it is huge in the context of, you know, you endlessly going on about who's going to challenge for the title. Tomorrow is a big one, even though it is still so early on, because if Hearts were to go 8 points ahead, and it also, because of the dynamics that are leading into the game, there are so many little subplots there. We've seen so often where Celtic, when it's been a challenge is, you know, confronting them, they come out and they put in a performance and get a win. If Hearts are to overcome them and win, it's not just the fact they're 8 points ahead. I think psychologically, this early on, it's a big one.
They've done that so often. You know, when a team comes to challenge them and the hype and the hoopla, and then Celtic just swat them.
League Cup semi-final last year.
But those
Celtic against Aberdeen.
Those Celtic teams were stronger than this Celtic team.
Yep.
A lot stronger.
I think that's the thing. The argument is that we had this with Aberdeen last season. I would argue that the Hearts squad is stronger than the Aberdeen squad last season, and Celtic are a lot weaker than they were.
But also, I'd say, looking back to the Sturm Graz win, obviously huge emotion, great, very good second half performance. But I'm not fully buying into the hype around that performance. Brendan Rodgers eulogising it. It was 45 minutes terrible, 45 minutes good.
Yeah, but
they're not out of the morass.
No, they're not. Absolutely. But from a Celtic perspective, you have to try to cling on and amplify the positives. And Brendan Rodgers will be looking at that and thinking, okay, there's a little green shoot of recovery there, but it's still in its infancy. So for Hearts, you need to just stamp that out. You need to squash it right away.
Tomorrow's
because
the
there's
day.
still that fragility, and if Hearts dominate early on, it'll just start to plant the seeds of doubts again.
Right.
Fabulous.
Check.
Second goal for St Johnstone. Jamie Gallen, he breaks down the left-hand side. I think, keep going, son, but he checks out. He holds it up. I think you've watched it all on duty. That's why he's down here. That's why I'm up here. What a strike. Beyond the goalkeeper, it's Morton 0, St Johnstone 2, Jamie Gallen.
Flying start for Morton. Thankfully, we've got the goals coming through from the Scottish Cup. Lots of ties today, so I'll try and keep you updated on these as soon as we get the goals coming in. Cumbernauld Colts 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 1 is the latest score. Another goal came through there a couple of minutes ago. Bantry 1, Fraserburgh 0, Auchinleck Talbot 1, Gretna 2008 0, Clydebank 0, East Stirlingshire 1. That goal on 8 minutes. That's you up to date with the goals there. Just we'll go around the grounds here, and I want to come back, Tom, to the European performance. It's not just a great comeback for Celtic and great for them, but I think also important for Scottish football, because at one point I was in here, it was looking like it had been a really embarrassing night for Scottish football.
It was an embarrassing night.
Yeah, well, it's still, and I see an Aberdeen fan getting in touch. I'll read out his message in just a minute. But let's take a bounce around the grounds. First of all, let's get to that game at Tannadice. Alan Preston is here for us. What's happening, Al, in the early stages?
St Mirren having the better of it so far, Kenny. They've forced a few corners. It's very, very blustery here at Tannadice. They've got the advantage at the moment. United are going to defend yet. This will be their fourth corner, I think, it's so far in the game. Tough start for them, but they're resolute at the moment. 0-0 here at Tannadice.
Right, thanks to Alan Preston. Next up, we will check in with Stephen Craigan through Amman Vale. Livingston home to Motherwell. What's happening, Stephen?
Well, there's not an awful lot happening with regards goal-mouth action, Kenny, but Motherwell are completely dictating the play. Livingston are getting the ball, they can't keep hold of it. Eli just takes up some incredible positions, just his awareness of the game, playing as that number 10, but Motherwell pass, but they're just lacking that cutting edge, and that's probably what's avoided them, or eluded them, throughout most of the season. That their play has been good, but there's no point in having all the good play and the slow build-up, and because it is slow, it allows Livingston to get back behind the ball and congest around their 18-yard box, and with the sticky surface, it's really difficult to try and force the game. So Motherwell dominating the ball. Neither goalkeepers had a save to make. Livingston defending deep, but not really being posed any problem, so it's 0-0.
Falkirk home to Dundee this afternoon. Ian McCall is there for us. Either side having the better of it, Ian?
Not really, Kenny. I mean, I think Falkirk are probably dominating possession-wise, as you would expect, and the two centre midfield players, Digby and Hamilton of Dundee, who are huge, by the way. They're big lads, but they don't want to seem to get up in the game, and then hence Brad Spencer's been allowed time and space to kind of dictate play. Calvin Miller looks dangerous down the left, but the nearest we've had to go was in the first minute. Was as I said, was Simon Murray around the back post, and it was a decent save, and then the corner coming in. But it's a difficult day for football. I've got to say, it's the wind swirling. I don't know who it's an advantage to. But Kenny, my tip for relegation: Motherwell.
Seriously?
Yep.
Just too open, too predictable. What are you saying?
They've played at their very, very best. Everybody's been raving about it. The manager says we're trying something new after 140 years. A lot of it just doesn't ring true to me. It's a feeling just like the Hearts thing.
Right, Stephen Craigan, do you want to jump in on that one?
No, listen, Ian's got an opinion on the game, which is absolutely fine. I think the longer it goes and you don't win, how can you keep getting into the dressing room as a manager and selling the dream? This is how we play. This is going to work. This is going to work. If you don't win, then the players eventually, they don't give up, but they end up don't trust you. They don't believe what you're saying because results aren't following. So results have to follow. It has to be part of the process. It can't all be about pleasing on the eye. And sometimes as a manager or coach, you've got to park your ego. You've got to put it aside and think, hold on, what's the best for the team and what's the best for the club moving forward? So that's what we'll find out in the next couple of months anyway.
No, I don't see Motherwell getting relegated at all.
They'll probably win 5-0 a day.
But I tell you what, another good point that Ian picks up on, and I was going to mention it earlier myself, that I thought the comment about trying something different after 140 years was a bit nonsense, because by the way, there's been plenty of Motherwell teams even in the recent past. I think back to, I could think of a Motherwell side that had like Ross McCormack, Stephen Hughes, that played really good football, by the way. I think Mark McGee was the manager first time around.
He was, yeah.
And played really good football. Really good football. Craigs, you would have been at the back in that side and you would have known all about it.
I used to just stand and watch and think,
but seriously, it was great football, wasn't it?
Yeah, really, really good. I mean, Chris Porter was a centre forward as well.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's a little bit disrespectful. I agree
sorry,
with you.
Michael, just have a look here at Tannadice. Lucas Stevenson's been down for a long time. I just got the back of him. He's clearly taking a real. You might get a better picture. I don't know.
He was just spitting blood there. I think he's got. I think he's just got a cut in his mouth.
Real bad. It wasn't a nasty challenge. Just an unfortunate.
I didn't see. I didn't see the challenge, but he certainly got. Is it his nose? Well,
I mean, Motherwell under Tommy McLean had Davy Cooper and Bobby Russell in the same team.
Yeah.
They could play.
Do you think the current manager has heard of Bobby Russell?
Well, if he hasn't heard of Davy Cooper, he doesn't deserve to be a manager. If you're going to comment on the last 140 years, you should know.
Good point. Good point.
Well, listen, that's a big call from Ian McCall. He's not shy of an opinion. That's why we love him. So let's just check in. So it's 0-0, actually, in all the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the top flight this afternoon. 3 other games on Sports and full coverage tomorrow from 11:30. We're at 3 games in the Championship today. My goodness, Chick Young, what a start from St Johnstone down at Capello.
Brilliant, wonderful weather, wonderful football, wonderful surface, just great to watch. 2-0 to St Johnstone, the league leaders at the moment, responding to that challenge up the table by Partick Thistle, who crept alongside them, but St Johnstone have been off the box with a flyer, playing an all-white strip. Look, nice strip actually against all red. Morton, very unusual with the team came out, but it's fabulous start by Saints. Goals from Czech Debate after 5 minutes, and then Jamie Gullen with a fabulous effort low across the goalkeeper to make it 2-0, and the league leaders just showing that they really are back and realising the challenge from the Jags and doing something about it this afternoon in a glorious sunny Capello. 2-0 to Saints at the moment, Kenny.
Rory Loy is at Starts Park. Wraith Rovers are home to Partick Thistle. I was predicting a decent game here, Rory, particularly given how Thistle play the game, but it doesn't sound like a great start.
Well, Wraith have been a great watch since the first 5 minutes. Kenny have been excellent, really good. Partick have struggled to get out their own half. They've just shelled another ball up, which has been intercepted by Sean Byrne. No, they've been a really good watch. Wraith Rovers, they work the ball well down the right-hand side, and they're looking for that switch of play to Dylan Easton to get him one-on-one with Ben McPherson.
Goal!
Alan Preston.
And it's a goal for St Mirren. The goalie makes an absolute hash of it. It's a corner that comes in. I think it's Lunderloo that scores the goal. The goalie is all over the place. It is windy, I get that, but he's got to do better. Have a look at this one, Michael. Keeper's fault.
I've already just seen it, and Alan, absolutely. I mean, I've seen it a number of times already from Kucherenko. Just this season alone. he's a bit of a flapper in goals, especially when balls are coming into his box.
And you target that, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think back to a number of games that I've watched so far. Easter Road, he throws a couple in the back of the net. European games, it's such a poor goal to lose. I mean, it's very straightforward. Balls out wide. It's thrown into the box, and he doesn't deal with it. Yes, it's windy, but I mean that's not wind.
Terrible attempt at a punch.
Yeah.
Could he catch that, Mikey?
Because he's right under the crossbar, but but you certainly don't do what he's done.
No.
He goes to punch it and basically misses it, and he skiffs it and lands right in the danger area. I mean, it's terrible.
Has he punched it into his own goal?
No, he's punched it up into the air, and
Not far punched.
Does the cross take a deflection?
Yes. Yeah, there is a wee nick in the cross.
Yeah.
Aye, but it's been crossed. It's not as if it's like
there's no pace in it.
Terrible.
But it's not, and it's also not. Just so everybody listening understands, it's not as if it's been deflected and changed things dramatically.
No.
It's as the ball's actually been hit, and if anything, it helps him because it just spins it right up into the air. It takes a lot of the flatness out the cross and up into the air. Plenty of time for him to see it. There's nobody blocking his view, and he's under the crossbar. He goes to punch it, he skiffs it, and keeps it into the danger area rather than clearing it. It's a massive goalkeeping error, like you were saying there, Al.
Yes, that's the first goal in the top flight this afternoon. St Mirren 1-0 up away at Dundee United. We heard from Chick Young. St Johnstone absolutely cruising down there at Caplow. Rory Loy talking about a really good, solid first half performance so far from Wraith Rovers home to Partick Thistle. No goals there. The flying start of the afternoon came up in Dingwall. Ross County at home to Dunfermline. Any sign at all, Ian Auld, of a fight back from the away side?
Not really, Kenny. No, the game started to settle down into a bit of a rhythm now. Ross County have been really good, to be fair. This is the best I've seen Ross County in a while. Dunfermline, as you would imagine, I mean, Neil Lennon's been pacing up and down that touchline, frantically dishing out instructions. Dunfermline will respond. They've had a really good season so far, so I'm expecting a response from Dunfermline, but so far it's all Ross County. They still lead by 2-0.
So in the Championship, Airdrie 1, Arbroath 0, Morton 0, St Johnstone 2, Queen's Park 0, Ayr United 0, Queens down to 10 men, Wraith Rovers 0, Partick Thistle 0, Ross County 2, Dunfermline 0. In League 1 today, no goals at all. Alloa Stennismuir, Kelty Hearts East 5, Montrose Cove Rangers and Peterhead against Inverness Cally Thistle. We have all the Scottish Cup games for you today. I'll give you all the half-time and full-time scores from these games. I'll try and bring you as many goals as I can as they come into us here in the studio. Just see if there's any coming in the last couple of minutes. Annan Athletic 1-0 away at Clyde. Down in England, Newcastle United 1, Fulham 0. Jacob Murphy with that goal on 80 minutes. Sunderland have equalised away at Chelsea. Wilson Isidore on 22 minutes. Tom, just your reflections then on the performances from our sides in Europe on Thursday night.
Okay, well, Celtic, as we talked earlier on, a good win for them. Dug it out. Rangers, not surprising that they went down the way they went down. I think the team are all over the place. Bit of sympathy for the new manager. New manager's in the door 5 minutes and he's already apologising to the fans. That's never a good look. And he's got Mount Everest to climb with the players, with the structure of the club, with the fury around the club. He's 36 years of age, and he won't have been anything like this before. Sheffield Wednesday was a basket case, but not like this kind of a basket case. And Aberdeen, totally outclassed. I was a bit shocked that it was 6, but I wasn't shocked that they were hammered, because
Willie said it could have been 8 at half time.
Yeah, a lot of
you were there, Michael, weren't you?
Scottish clubs in Europe over the last 10 years. It's a kind of a repeated tale of woe.
Let me read this message out on Twitter. It's from an Aberdeen fan. Let me just find this message here. Kevin Smith, sad to say, as an Aberdeen fan, it's not going to work under Jimmy. Team is far too easy to play against and through.
Whoa.
He talks post-match about collective learning, but he and the team don't. Get a new director of football in, let him choose a new manager.
He's still got plenty windows to go. 4 to 6 windows, Kenny. 4 to 6 windows.
I think he does. I mean, I think drawing conclusions like that from a game against AEK Athens away
Who's
from
drawn
home.
conclusions from that?
No,
It's in the third tier of European football.
The person who says it's not going to work under Jimmy Chalene.
But he's not
just won 2 games in a row in the league. A soft recovery, admittedly.
Tom, he's not just drawing conclusions from one game, is he? You know, we're now talking about the manager that's been in charge for approaching a year and a half. It's not just drawing conclusions from that.
They've won their last 2 games in the league.
Right, okay.
Soft.
So you just drawing conclusions from that?
No, I'm saying that you shouldn't sack a guy after he's just won 2 games in a row after a really dismal start. I think it's kind of bonkers to say he should be sacked.
Is the Aberdeen fan right though? And he doesn't want to be saying this, that the manager has to change, but he thinks they're too easy to play through. He's not seen things improving, albeit, as you say, Tom, fantastic goal late win against St Mirren. I don't think they played particularly well in that game. No. Very, very good against Dundee before the international break.
What are you asking me?
Livingston.
Right, Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, Livingston had a little bit of pressure the last couple of minutes. I think it's Bokila at the top end of the pitch. He's holding Stephen O'Donnell off. He just moves the ball away from Stephen O'Donnell. It's a lazy right leg. Catches him. I have to say, from where I am, it looked like a penalty kick. Slowly Livingston would come into the game. Motherwell are passing the ball around now. They've forgotten about purpose. They're just passing the ball for the sake of it. They haven't really been up the pitch. And Livingston have a penalty, which is going to make it even more difficult for Motherwell if this goes in, because they've put even more men behind the ball.
What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah. Is it Liam Gordon that gives it away? It's clumsy. You know, he's pointing saying that he's got a touch of the ball, Craigs, and I don't see it. It's it looks like a clumsy one for me, and I think it's probably the right call. The penalty kick from Nick Walsh.
Big moment here. Over to you, Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, it is. I think he's had the all clear from VAR that it is a penalty kick, Nick Walsh. It's going to be Jeremy Bokila who's stepping up to take the penalty kick.
It's another goal.
Yes, Chick.
It's another goal for St Johnstone.
Oof.
It's Josh McPake. They are ripping Morton apart down here. Morton can't get a touch of the ball. The Capital crowd have gone silent. And St Johnstone, the league leaders, are now 3 goals ahead. 3-0 to them at Capital.
Stephen Craigan.
Up steps Jeremy Bokila. He sends him up. So what a penalty it is. Into the top right-hand corner of the net with regards where Bokila is. Callum Ward goes to his right-hand side and it flies up past him. So I wouldn't say based on play, but certainly in the last 5 or 10 minutes Livingston have looked the most likely. It's now Livingston 1, Motherwell 0, and we spoke about having a poor start. If they lose today, it means they've lost against Falkirk, you got promoted. If they lose against Livingston, lost against Livingston, you got promoted. So there will be a cut-off point with regards to supporters of when they turn and eventually say, come on, we need to start winning games. So 1-0 to Livingston.
It'll need to be 5-1 now, Cole.
Kenny, just on the Aberdeen and Europe situation, you know, Aberdeen won the Scottish Cup. Now that's the rules, but Hibs finished 5 points clear of them and had a much stronger end to the season, much better squad and team in my opinion. You know, do you think winning the Scottish Cup merits it does under the current system? Do you think that needs looked at in terms of, you know, the best placed team in Scotland at this moment in time to play in the Conference League would be Hibs? Yeah, it would, but obviously, as we've seen over the period of time since that has been the case, and there's been 3 group stage teams, that's the first year where obviously it's actually been the cup winner, because invariably it's been Celtic or Rangers, one of the top 2 that have won the cup, so it goes to the third place team. Yeah, should it just be? I just don't think Hibs would have. No, I'd agree with the same defeat. I would agree with you. You know, I would absolutely agree with you that Hibs, I think, in Europe would have been making a better fist of it. Having said all that, I think goal at the Falkirk Stadium.
Yes, Ian McCall.
It's for the away team. Falkirk 0, Dundee 1. A terrific. Dundee have had the chances. It's pretty an even game. Terrific corner in by Congreve. And Clark Robertson, like he did last week, was in acres of space and just banged in a near post header. Goalie Bain, absolutely no chance. Falkirk 0, Dundee 1.
How many assists has Cam Congreve got at this stage?
He looks a player.
He does.
He really does look a player.
Yeah, he's good. Yep, absolutely. Are you going to tell us the number? No. What? I thought you were going to tell us the number.
But I'll look it up. But it's a lot, isn't it? Is it 7? Is it?
I think Collie was saying it's about 6.
It's a very influential player, though.
Yeah. I was just going to, say that I think the draw has been slightly unfavourable for Aberdeen, though. It's 2 tough games to begin with. Shakhtar and AEK away from home. It is 2 tough games. But to touch on the whole thing about Aberdeen, I think they're in a little bit of stuck between a rock and a hard place, the manager. Such a poor start to the season. such clamber for him to change the system, which I think it was understandable. They had to change something, and then he's changed the system, and then it's brought around slightly better performances. It's brought about 2 wins in the league, but the deficiencies within that system and the personnel that are in it, because there's too many square pegs and round holes, was brutally exposed by Ike. The system doesn't fit the players that Aberdeen have got, but he had to change something from his 4-2-3-1, and now, because the sort of recovery was in such an infancy of a recovery, that there wasn't any real momentum, serious momentum behind it.
Oh, Robbie Muirhead.
And Ike have just obliterated it. Right. And he's under real pressure now to either, what does he do? Does he stick with that, or does he go back to his previous system?
Right,
it's going to be a big call for him.
The Aberdeen person that tweeted in, Thomas, got back in touch to clarify something. I'll get to that in just 1 minute. Let me just round up some goals. In the Scottish Cup, Stranraer 1, Glenafton Athletic 0, Clyde 0, Annan Athletic 2. Latest score there, Bankside 2, Fraserburgh 0. Just confirming some goals come in, just confirmation. The video print, as Chick was telling us, St Johnstone rampant down there at Caplow this afternoon. Josh McPake with the third goal, Morton 0, Saints 3, Auckland Talbot 2, Gretna 2008 0. Just confirmation that Clark Robertson goal on 26 minutes, Falkirk 0, Dundee 1, and that Jeremy Bakila penalty, a great penalty it was, on 26 minutes, Livingston 1, Motherwell 0. So what we'll do, a quick bounce around the grounds again, then I'll come back to the Aberdeen person that's got in touch, the fan, Tom. He's got a point he wants to put to you. Just another goal coming in. The Scottish Cup, Caledonian Braves 1, Stirling Albion 0. Let's then get back to the game at Tannadice. Dundee United are at home to St Mirren this afternoon. Away side with the advantage there. Alan Preston, good value for it?
Very much so, yeah. They're the better side in this opening period. Kenny got that goal by Lundaloo after the keeper makes a mistake from a John cross in 18 minutes. But another couple of half chances, shots over the bar. United have shown nothing so far. They did have a corner, but it was well defended at the back post. That's been about it for United. 1-0 to St Mirren at the moment.
Right, next stop, Livingston. They're at home to Motherwell this afternoon. The home side with the advantage here, Stephen Craig. And what about this Motherwell performance this afternoon? Do you think he has to change something today? He's behind in a game. More often than not, they've been ahead in games. How does he play this now, Jens Bertel?
He'll stick to his plan. He won't change. There's no way he's going to deviate. Not after selling the dream of trying to improve a football club after 140 years. He's I think this afternoon they lack a cutting edge. They lack a centre forward, a physical, whether it's someone who's physical or someone who's got a bit of pace. Apostolos Domatolopoulos is a penalty box player. I've said that all along. He needs either someone up beside him or someone round about him who's going to feed him all the time. Lots of crosses coming into the box, but because the build-up play is so slow, a lot of the time he should stand and watching the game, because he's normally the last option. They go wide, they go into midfield, the wide players become inverted, the full-backs go high. The centre-forward is seldom involved in the game. But then when the ball does come to him, his hold-up play isn't great, his link-up play is not good, so it breaks down, and then Livingston on their attack. Livingston actually could have been 2-0 up. Stevie May was through just a couple of minutes ago when Michael was talking about Aberdeen. Forced to save out of Callum Ward. Ball comes back to Robbie Muirhead. He fizzes it over. So for all Motherwell's play and dominance, Prior hasn't had a save in the goal, and Callum Ward had to make 2 or 3 saves. So it could be 2-0, it could be more to Livingston. But the manager's not going to change, Kenny. He's got a philosophy he wants to stick to. Where it goes, you have to win games. If you don't, then you're going to be in trouble.
Do you feel a bit annoyed that comment that he's made?
No, Tom, it doesn't really bother me. I just think that the club is bigger than players and managers. Managers come and go, and yes, you can make comments, you can have quips, but you have to be successful. If you're going to talk about a club's history and you're going to try and change the whole direction of the club, then
it's a little bit ignorant, isn't it, Chris? It's a little bit ignorant.
Possibly, but you have to then show us what you've got. And we've got a team who are sitting potentially could be bottom come the end of the weekend. They've plenty of possession. They haven't scored an awful lot of goals. So
they're 11th. They're 11th on the table. The live table.
Time will tell. At the end of the season, or whenever the manager possibly leaves, if things don't go well, whatever it may be, but we'll be able to judge that, Tom, further down the line. But just try and win games, but they're not doing it. They're one-dimensional.
Well, Dundee were many people's tips to go down this season after a really poor League Cup campaign, but it could be a great couple of weeks for Stephen Preston. A home victory against Celtic last Sunday, and this afternoon, so far so good there at the Falkirk Stadium, Ian McCall.
Yes. Would you believe it? It's St Johnstone 4, Morton 0. That is quite magnificent. I think it's Saudi scored it. It was a marvellous burst inside the box turn, put it beyond the goalkeeper. Capo is silenced.
Wait a minute.
And St Johnstone are running riot down here.
Check.
Saints 4.
What did you tip before the game?
Draw.
Should be some second half down there at Capello this afternoon. Clydebank have equalised at home to East Stirlingshire in the Scottish Cup. Let's get back to you, McCall. In terms of that Dundee performance, what are you seeing from them today?
Well, the funny thing is I'm seeing exactly what I saw against Celtic last week. You'd thought they might have changed, but out of possession they very quickly go back to 5-4 with Simon Murray up front in his own, but they get forward very, very quickly. Equally with the goal, I'd be interested to see it again, because it looks like it was the exact same block that allowed Clark Robertson to get into an area where he could score a goal from, and that's exactly how he scored against Celtic. I think the corner came from a different side. I think it was an outswinger, not an in-swinger this time, but there was definitely a block on a Falkirk player that gave Clark Robertson the space, and that's exactly how they scored against Celtic. So fair play to them, and you've got to say on chances, there's not been many chances, but they probably deserve to be ahead. It's still 1-0 to the away team, and Dundee look really compact, really strong.
A stat assist on update on Cam Congreve. 5 assists in 8 games that he's played so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's
no bad, huh?
It's great to watch. It's great to watch a player that relies on ability. It doesn't look that quick, so he can get the ball in his left foot, and he's got a couple of wee body swells. He
carries the ball brilliantly, doesn't he?
He carries the ball well. He's one of these players that looks faster with it than when he's not got it.
Aye.
Which sounds funny, but there is players like that.
And he's got good body strength for a wide man.
Absolutely, he's got a low sense of gravity, and they also, like a lot of wingers, I know I certainly wouldn't have tucked back in. He really tucks back in for the team and makes it, 5-4-1 with 4 across the middle, where his best work would be done in the attacking third of the field. He looks as if he's got ability. I mean, I've only seen him twice, but he can play.
This is the big thing for Dundee, and it happened last week, that they have ball carriers now on the side.
Still a fifth.
Sorry, Chick, you gave us a fright there.
I thought it was
you're having a moment there, Chick.
That's Halloween.
There is something up with him, Collie. It's always been like
They've got ball carriers because you can be as defensively sound as you want. We saw this, early in the first few games of the season, where they offered no real attacking threat. Once you've got players like Ethan Hamilton, who carries the ball brilliantly as well, as a real competitor. You heard the manager Stephen Presley talking about him, eulogising about him, because I think he is a very, very good player as well. And him and Congreve in particular, they take the team up the park. And yes, they could provide a wee bit more service for Simon Murray, but I think they just need to build a little head of steam to allow them to then to be a wee bit more adventurous. But with those guys, they are able to get that transition between being difficult with bodies defensively to break down, but then having the ability to be able to go and hurt the opposition. You've got to have guys that are able to get you up the park.
I think ironically with Simon Murray, I think he's had a great career. I've really enjoyed watching him today. I love watching him bring the team out. He just sprints into the middle of the park, then sprints over to his fans, and his teammates are way behind him. Ironically, as a striker, sometimes he'd be better served just to stand still, but he works ever so hard, and the way that Dundee play, he's absolutely perfect for it, because he's just absolute constant movement.
Couple of goals in the Scottish Cup for you. Stranraer 2, Glenafton Athletic 0, and Stirling Albion equalised away at Caledonian Braves 1 apiece in that one. We'll get just back to this tweet from the Aberdeen fan in a minute or two. Let's get back into the championship. We heard from Chick Young, St Johnstone cruising down at Morton. Wraith Rovers are home to Partick Thistle this afternoon. Rory Loy is there for us.
Yes, indeed, Kenny. It's still 0-0, but as far as 0-0 goes, it's been an entertaining game. I've enjoyed it. It's been a half of two halves, so to speak. Partick Thistle coming back into the game now after Wraith Rovers dominated for 15 minutes. They really should have taken advantage of it. A couple of chances for Easton, but Partick Thistle coming forward now, and it was Logan Chalmers who probably should have done better with a header, as another one's cleared.
Right.
A dangerous ball across, so it's still 0-0 at the moment, Kenny.
Thanks, Rory. Ian McCall, there's an interesting situation going on in your game.
Yeah, it's impossible that the VAR are checking for a penalty kick.
Right.
It was just a coming together in the box. I mean, we are a long way from it. I think it was Simon Murray. It might have been Keelan Adams as well.
Michael's got a wee look at it here.
Yeah.
Well, Ethan Hamilton came in after, but I think the Dundee players were claiming it was potentially a handball from the initial ball up in the air.
Well, VAR are looking at it right now, I think.
Aye, and then Ethan Hamilton, when the ball became loose, he got onto the ball first, but with studs, and I think the referees booked him, even though to me it's never a free kick. And the is forget the handball. I'm talking nonsense. It's got nothing to do with that. It's just the challenge.
It's
simply
Wilson
the challenge.
And Hamilton, isn't it? It was coming together, I thought.
They both hit the deck simultaneously.
But the thing is, the referee gave a foul to Falkirk, and he's booked Ethan Hamilton. That is never a yellow card.
Never a yellow card.
Never a yellow. Okay, you can debate whether it's a penalty or not, but certainly Ethan Hamilton's the attacking player that's potentially been fouled. He gets his foot on the ball first, but because his foot is there with the studs, the Falkirk player kicks him, and he's given a free kick to Falkirk, and he's booked Ethan Hamilton. That's never. And by the way, I don't even think, the more I'm looking at it, I don't think the Falkirk player does kick his boot.
He does.
It looks
I don't
like
think he
kicks
does.
his leg.
I don't.
So that, honestly, every replay I'm watching, I'm changing my. I think that could have been a penalty. The madness is, under no circumstances should Ethan Hamilton have been booked. I'd love to see the replay one more time.
Let's try and get some guidance, some VAR guidance on that. It was a wee while just to come to that conclusion there. In the Scottish Cup, Edinburgh City 1, University of Stirling 0, Dumbarton 1, Tayport 0, and in League 1, Kelty Hearts 0, East Fife 1. Kieran Miller with the goal in 38 minutes.
That is quite incredible, Kenny. That last replay, when you see it, was it Wilson from Falkirk, I think Collie was saying.
Right.
He's kicked. It's not, you instinctively think it's one of those where two players going for it, and the guy who gets to the ball first with his studs there, and the other player kicks the bottom of it, and they give the free kick, and they've booked Ethan Hamilton. Even if that was the circumstances, I don't think it should have been a yellow card. But what it actually looked like in the last angle was Ethan Hamilton gets the ball first, and it looks like Wilson kicks his leg. It's a penalty kick every day of the week.
We've asked for guidance on that, so hopefully it'll come soon.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see what gobbledygook comes back, because if they
don't dismiss it as
not get great faith in our VAR people, have you?
No, because if they don't come back and say that's a huge error, it is gobbledygook, because that was a penalty.
Wilson had been booked earlier in the game as well, so
there you go. There you go.
Right, Tom said we've asked for clarity on that, so we'll read that out. Again, I said this earlier on, it's important. We'll read it out during the game, but also for those at the game today who have no idea
have a clue
what was going on. Yeah, we'll read that out after 5 o'clock when people are back in their cars, those that have been at the game today. Just want to go back to Aberdeen, just quickly, let's get to the game in Dingwall. Are the home side cruising up there, Ian?
They are, Kenny, yeah. There's been a real shortage of chances in this one since Ross County went 2-0 in front inside the opening 3 minutes. Ronan Hale's had a chance which was with tame effort from the edge of the box, but they've been lively, the home side. Just that 2 goals inside the 3 minutes
surely
has kind of killed this game as a contest.
Alan Preston.
The St Mirren keeper, Shamal George, comes to pick the ball up at the edge of the box. It's outside the box.
It looks it from here.
I think, yeah.
First look.
Well outside. That's a booking.
The game's been stopped. I mean, it looked blatant.
It was an assistant on the far side, gave it.
Do you know how he just looked guilty? He looked guilty when he did it. Right, here we are, Michael. Have a wee look at this.
Well, we saw it from a mile away and it looked pretty clear. And so did Alan.
Here we are.
Here's the replay. I mean, it's outside the box. There's no question of it.
It's like one of those when you a picture of a child who says he hasn't eaten the cake, yet the cake is all smeared all over his face.
It's absolutely like
that was his look.
It's a big chance, Al, here for United.
That's right, just inch outside the 18-yard, a couple of inches outside the 18-yard box. St Mirren have been good value. When you're talking about that possible penalty down at Falkirk, Lindeloo had another header from O'Hara corner, just knocked it wide. St Mirren totally on top, deserve to be ahead. And I watched United a few weeks ago against Livingston. There's something similar. Livingston dominated the opening 45, went 1-0 up at half time. United got an improvement in the second half, but here's a chance for them. Certainly looks like it's set up for me for Ferry, but Sapsford's over it as well. Ferry on his left foot, Sapsford on the right. We'll soon see. The referee has got the wall back. I think it's got to be hit with pace. I think it's too tight to be up, to get it up and down, so I would hit it with pace. Goal! He goes through the wall on the ground into the corner, the keeper's corner. I think the goalie thinks he's going to put it over the top of the wall. He doesn't. He reverses it into the goalie's corner. Equaliser for Dundee United. Sapsford.
Got to say, it's a good finish, because how often you see when the ball's so close that it's blazed over the bar, it hits the wall. I'd be interested to see how things are lined up, Alan, in terms of where the wall is and where the keeper, because as you said quite rightly, it ends up going what you would class as the goalkeeper's side. How does that happen?
Yeah, I think you'll get a look at it, Michael. Does he take a step to the left and can't get back?
No, do you know what it is?
It's got to be better, is it not?
I just think that because where the wall's situated, Dundee United have got 3 guys standing to the side of that. I just think the wall's set up terribly.
Yeah, there's a gap there, isn't there?
It's not so much a gap. He goes down the side of the St Mirren wall, and there's not even. You've got 3 Dundee United guys. They're not touched tight to the wall because you're not allowed to do that. They're probably about a good 2 feet away from the St Mirren wall, and he just hits it over to that side where you would be looking and expecting the St Mirren goalkeeper Shamal George to be, and he's nowhere to be seen. And good finish, good goal for Dundee United, but St Mirren defensively, you're saying the setup's all wrong.
Did they move, Michael? The 3 United players, did they move out the way?
Margin, like slightly, not like not terribly. It's more almost in between the gap of the what you class as the 2 walls.
Yeah.
There's a Dundee United wall and a St Mirren wall, and it sort of goes in between the 2 of them as the Dundee United end man moves slightly. But it's more just a case of
good save.
Where's the goalkeeper in it all?
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Kucharenko makes a really good save there. Nindaloo again. Good hit from a long throw, and that's been the feature, long throw-ins into the box, and the keeper makes a good save.
Stephen Robinson will be absolutely fizzing about how that free kick was given away there, and again didn't cover themselves in glory, as Mike was saying, when the free kick was actually taken. So 1 apiece up there at Tannadice. Much needed goal for Cove Rangers in League One. 1-0 up away at Montrose. Leighton Bislin with that goal on 43 minutes in the Scottish Cup. Musselburgh Athletic 1.
Who's third in the table?
Athletic 0. Who's third in what table?
What do you mean, what table? Live table, who's third?
Time
the Scottish Premiership.
Reforms now.
Dundee.
No.
Yeah.
Dundee.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Alright, let's look at this. So 22 points, Hearts at the top, Celtic 17, Dundee 12, Hibs 11, Dundee United 11, Kilmarnock 10, St Mirren 10, Rangers 9 points, Falkirk 9 points, Livy, if they can hang on to their big 3 points, 9 points.
Capello, it's 4-0 to St Johnstone.
Thanks, Jack.
If you want to, you couldn't find a greater illustration of the essential bonkerdom of this league. Dundee horsed by Aberdeen 4-0. Next game, beat Celtic 2-0. I mean, how are you supposed to make sense of that? Like,
who's bottom of the table?
Aberdeen. We're going to come back to that.
Aberdeen. Your team.
Kevin, don't
I think he's had pretty close to
wait
4.
a minute, Kevin. I haven't forgotten about a message. Kevin, put that to the guys in the second half. We'll do that in a few minutes' time. In the Scottish Cup, Nairn County 0, Turriff United 2, Banks of D 3, Fraserburgh 0, and there was one other goal of interest coming through there somewhere along the line. Didn't quite see what it was. Actually, though, just looking at that live table, I mean, that's remarkable for the. Do you know what I liked with Stephen Presley?
I'm really enjoying watching Kenny. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. Cameron Congreve just took the ball for a run there, and he's got 3 or 4 players round him, and he's trying to dink it. He's won himself a throw in. 2 minutes earlier.
Goal, Dunfermline!
Let you go.
Yes.
Dunfermline have pulled one back, Kenny. It was a great ball from the right-hand side by Shea Kearney. And at the back post, Andrew Todd, who's been on fire this season, heads home. Dunfermline back in it, 2-1 Ross County.
Yeah, he couldn't make his mind up between Andrew and Andy, I think a couple of weeks ago on Sports Sound, but he has been bang in form, no doubt at all about that. Shocking start for Neil Lennon's side, but they're right back in it, right on the stroke of half-time there. Just going to say about Stephen Presley, Mike, who you of course know him really well. What I've liked about his interviews, and it has been tough for him, given that League Cup campaign, and he wasn't a popular choice, I felt he's spoken very well. He's owned things. This is on me, I'll need to learn this, I got this wrong today. I felt he's managed things very well in difficult circumstances.
Well, I mean, look, that's ultimately determined, your perception is always determined by results. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Elvis is he's a realist. He understands the game of football. I think he's a very good, person. I think people warm to him when you deal with him closely. And he's recognised what the side need to do. He recognised that, as an attacking sense, they were devoid of any real threat. Slowly but surely he's trying to evolve the team. He said when they went to Pittodrie, he tried to be a wee bit more, take the shackles off, and very quickly realised, no, we're not quite there yet. He's reverted back to, a back 5, but the key thing being he's getting the balance of the team right. The win against Celtic is huge. If they follow up with another 3 points here the day, that is, monumental, and it pushes them up into third in the table, which is massive for the confidence as well. But look, Dundee are, they're is far from the finished article. Tony Docherty did a brilliant job at Dundee, I think, and I think he was harshly sacked. I think there was a lot of turmoil and change that was then not needed. Mm-hmm. But Stephen Presley's in there, and I hope he does really well. And certainly, it looks like they are progressing. after a very, very difficult start, has got to be said.
A good watch, you, McCall?
Yeah, well, just as I said about Congreve, I said he's all left side. He's left-footed, but 10 minutes ago, he's just whipped an unbelievable ball into his right foot, and then went to take on. I mean, he didn't take on one player; he took on about 3 or 4, and won himself a throw in. So yeah, good player. I love the way they haven't changed the way they play. And Michael's right; they're playing exactly as they did against Celtic. They get into their shape of 5-4 with Simon Murray running about like a crazy guy up front from behind the ball, and that's what they do. And they have got 1 or 2 Wesley and obviously Congreve ball carriers. They're well organised now. They find a system. They're obviously working hard in set plays, because against Celtic and today they've played a very, very similar block, and they've scored 2. Got the same player, Clark Robertson, scored both headers.
And they should have had a penalty there. I mean,
I couldn't really see it, Michael, from here, but
certainly that last replay, I'm no doubt we'll get more at half time. Not sure whether Tom's
half time ending, Mo Kenny, Ross County 2, Dunfermline 1.
Thanks, Ian.
Half time, Falkirk 0, Dundee 1.
I don't know if Tom's had an update with
nothing yet, Mikey.
the gobbledygook report, but
no. Gobbledygook correspondent hasn't reported for duty yet.
Well, clearly they're just trying to get their ducks in a row.
I suspect that they might be reluctant to express their views once they've already dismissed as gobbledygook.
Yeah, well, possibly.
Well, listen, we need that. We need that from VAR HQ, and Michael will give you the definitive opinion on that one. But it's going to be interesting to hear what they've got to say.
Well, I'd love to know how VAR have looked at it and said, no, nothing to see here, carry on, because it looks, it was either Wilson or Williams. Now, if it's Wilson, as Ian McCall was saying, he'd already been booked earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a huge call. But the facts are, Ethan Hamilton gets the ball first. Simon Murray's
1-1.
Thanks, Al.
Simon Murray's talking to the refs, and you know exactly what he's talking to them about. It's that incident. Ethan Hamilton gets to the ball first, and he is caught. He's kicked. And how they can give a free kick the other way and a booking to Ethan Hamilton is beyond belief. And then for VAR to look at it and stick by it is mental.
As soon as we get an update on that, we'll bring it to you live on Sports Sound on BBC at Radio Scotland. We're with you right through until 7 o'clock this evening.
Scottish football lives here.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
Go! From BBC Radio Scotland. The 1,000 Mile Challenge for BBC Children in Need.
Last year, BBC Radio Scotland joined radio stations across the country and swam 1,000 miles. This time, we're going to attempt to walk it.
There is a catch, though. BBC Radio Scotland needs to walk 25 miles over 2 days, 3-legged.
I'm Judith Ralston, and on the team with me will be Phil Goodlad.
And when the challenge starts, we'll be heading for the Kelpies in Falkirk, hopefully with some sunshine as well.
The 1,000 Mile Challenge for BBC Children in Need. To find out more, head to bbc.co.uk/walk. BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. 6 games covered on Open All Mics for you this afternoon. Let's take a wee trip around the grounds and get the half-time report starting at Tannadice. Dundee United at home to St Mirren. There for us, Alan Preston.
The half-time score is Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1. And St Mirren dominated that opening 45 minutes, Kenny, and took the lead in 18. It was a cross from John, slight deflection on it. But the Dundee United keeper, Kucherenko, flapped it, didn't know whether to punch it or catch it, just dropped it, and then Lundaloo headed it into the back of the net. It was all St Mirren at that point. They had a chance from ahead of Lundaloo again, then O'Hara cross, Lundaloo's header just wide, had shots over the bar. But Dundee United almost equalised with Savage in 32 minutes. Well, O'Hara, a corner from the outside, outswinger, and Eva Savage at the back post heading into the side netting. But they did get an equaliser, and Stevie Robinson will be absolutely fuming because they didn't really deserve it, Dundee United. George, the keeper for St Mirren, handles the ball outside the box. It was going into him. I don't know why he does it, but he handles it clearly outside the box. And from the free kick, Sapsford goes the keeper's side, low along the deck into the back of the net to give them an equaliser. Just before half-time, Lundaloo had a shot which Kucherenko saved away for a corner. Robinson will be fuming. Cheap goal for them, but the half-time score is Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1.
Yeah, we'll hear from all the managers after the games on Sports Sound this afternoon. Next up, Ammanvale, Livingston home to Motherwell. Let's get a half-time report from Stephen Craigan.
Indeed, Kenny, I have to say, I think the pitch has played a part in this game. It's very sticky, it's very dry. The game has been quite slow, it's been scrappy at times. A lot of misplaced passes and under-hit passes. But anyway, it's Livingston who lead by a goal to nil. It was a penalty kick after 26 minutes. Liam Gordon fouled Jeremy Bokila. It was just a lazy right leg. He tried to nick the ball away from him. Bokila got the first touch, just brought him down. It was Bokila stepped up left-footed, fired the ball high into the left-hand corner past Callum Ward in goal. Motherwell haven't really threatened the goal. They've had plenty of possession. I've had a look. 66% possession they've had, no attempts on target. I think that probably sums up their first half, but Livingston could have more goals. Stephen May had a chance after about 30 minutes. He went through on the left-hand side, forced a good save out of Callum Ward in goal. From that rebound, Robbie Muirhead fizzed over with his right foot. And then right on half-time, Jeremy Bokila, a scissor kick from about the penalty spot. Perfect connection, just fizzed over the crossbar. Could have been 2-0 to Livingston. So Motherwell have got work to do. Livingston will be more than happy to sit behind the ball, suck up a little bit of pressure and play in the counter-attack. It suited them in the first half. It's worked in the first half. Motherwell need to up their game. They need a cutting edge. They lack something at the top end of the pitch. So half-time here at Almond Vale, it's Livingston 1, Motherwell 0.
Next up, the Falkirk Stadium. Falkirk at home to Dundee. Let's hear from you, McCall.
Yeah, it's the away team that are in the lead. Falkirk 0, Dundee 1. And to be honest, Dundee have played exactly like they played last week. The retreat behind the ball with a 5-4-1, and it's really working for them. They've got a little bit of pace, trickery in the wider areas. They started the game better. They had a chance in a couple of minutes with Simon Murray around the back area. The ball just broke and it was a decent save by Bain. And then Dre Wright, from here, from my angle, he looked as if he very, very nearly scored direct from a corner. Falkirk, they've had 71% possession, which will please John McGlynn, but what won't please him is they've not really had a chance at goal. I mean, Williams had a first-time strike from about 20 yards that didn't really trouble the goalie. The goal came after 24 minutes, and it was a carbon copy of last week against Celtic. It looked to me that there was a block perfectly timed to allow Craig Robertson, Robertson to head in Congreve's fantastic in-swinging corner to put the away team 1-0 up. And that was it. Falkirk need to do a whole lot more, but I've seen them come back in second halves a lot of times in games at the Falkirk Stadium. But at half time, it's Falkirk 0, Dundee 1.
Yeah, Clark Robertson with that goal. Matthew, a Dundee fan, says if Dundee hadn't given away a terrible penalty at Ibrox, would be 3 points off Celtic right now. Quite remarkable. So in the top flight, Dundee United 1, St Mirren 1, Falkirk 0, Dundee 1, Livingston 1, Motherwell 0. We're at 3 games also.
Was that a Dundee fan that said that?
Yeah. Also,
well, not so much gave away. It was a terrible decision.
Another bad decision.
It wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, I agree.
right, okay.
Absolutely.
But we're going to have a VAR debate later. Some Motherwell fans going to join us later in the programme. Perhaps more worrying things for him to be thinking about today, given their league position right now and their current run of form. Let's get into the Championship. 3 games we're at this afternoon. Let's start the game. What a first half down at Capello. Morton against St Johnstone. Let's hear from Chick Young.
Well, as we went into this game, Greenock Morton had a record that said there were 8 draws out of 11 played in the Championship season so far. It's going to have to be some second half performance from them if they're to get a point out of this one, Kenny, because they trail St Johnstone by 4 goals to 0 at half time. 2 of them from Jamie Galligan, who's been absolutely outstanding in this game. Josh McPake with the third one. The opening header was from Diabate, and St Johnstone have absolutely destroyed Morton in this first half, underlining their position at the top of the table. There have been wobbles as Partick Thistle got level with them, but the goal difference has been enhanced, and in fact there are points between the clubs as we said at half time in the live table this afternoon. St Johnstone have been terrific, and you have to wonder about Jamie Gowan, who of course has played about a handful of games for Hibs, has been all over the place, but he's been outstanding, and you wonder why on earth he's not playing at a higher level altogether. He has commanded this first half, scored 2 goals and been all over Morton in the back and tormented them. Good goals as well, as I said, Diabate's magnificent header just after 5 minutes, and then the Gowan in 10, 24 from McPake, 33 for Gowan. The goals just kept coming, and I have to say that Greenock Morton will be looking at big changes in the second half, and I would assume that Dougie Emery, who looked shell-shocked down there, will be making maximum substitutions as quickly as he possibly can. They have been ripped apart in this first half by the league leaders here at Capello. It is at half-time Morton 0, St Johnstone 4.
Thank you to Chick Young. Next stop, Starts Park. Raith Rovers at home to Partick Thistle. Rory Loy is there for us.
Yes, indeed, Kenny. No goals in this one, but no shortage of chances, to be fair. And it was Raith Rovers who started the brighter. Docherty's cross found Hamilton's head after 7 minutes. However, he headed wide. Docherty, who's been excellent in this first half, then created another opportunity, this time for Easton, who cut inside, but his shot was saved by Ray. By Clark, sorry. On 15 minutes, Easton's shot at the front post was again saved by Josh Clark in the goals. Before Partick Thistle just started to get into it again, Tony Watt had a chance, a wide free kick from the left-hand side, right-footed in-step effort. However, it was straight at the goalkeeper. 24 minutes, Scott Brown had a shot for the hosts, and that was it in terms of the chances. However, what I would say is Lewis Stevenson was a flurry of goals going in at the time, was very lucky in my opinion to escape a red card. He'll be glad VAR's not here at Starks Park today. He was late, he was high, straight leg. Grant Irvin flashed the yellow. Quite lucky for me to be on the pitch still. However, it was yellow. It remains 11 aside, and it remains 0-0.
Thank you to Rory Loy. Let's then get to the game in Dingwall. An electric start up there. Ross County at home to Dunfermline. Let's hear from Ian Auld.
Yeah, half-time in Dingwall, Kenny, with Ross County in the driving seat. Dunfermline went into the game without conceding a goal in the month of October, and then conceded 2 goals inside the opening 3 minutes. Scott Fraser opened the scoring for the Staggies 90 seconds into the contest. The Pars cleared the lines only as far as the 18-yard box, only to find Fraser, who drilled past Mason Munn. The on-loan Rangers keeper was pecking the ball out of his net again 60 seconds later. Jeremiah Chilakoa Millen caught in possession just outside his own box by Ronan Hale. He squared for Jordan White and he beat Munn. A frantic start to the half was matched by the finish. Dunfermline improved as the game progressed and grabbed a goal just before the half-time whistle when Shea Kearney crossed from the right-hand side to find Andrew Todd. His header clipped the underside of the crossbar en route to beating Trevor Carson. All to play for. Ross County 2, Dunfermline 1.
So in the Championship, Airdrie 1, Arbroath 0, Morton 0, St Johnstone 4, Queen's Park 0, Ayr United 0, Queen's down to 10 men, Raith Rovers 0, Partick Thistle 0. As we've just been hearing, Ross County 2, Dunfermline 1. In League 1 today, Alloa Athletic 0, Stenhousemuir 0, Kelty Hearts 0, East Fife 1, Montrose 0, Cove Rangers 1, Peterhead 0, Inverness, Cali Thistle 0 in League 1. I'll try and rattle through quickly these Scottish Cup second round half-time scores. Auchinleck Talbot 2, Gretna 2008 0, Gretna down to 10 men. Bankside 4, Fraserburgh 0, Brecon City 0, Dundonald Bluebell 0, Caledonian Braves 1, Stirling Albion 1, Camelon Juniors 0, Johnston Borough 0, Clachnacudden 0, Sochi Juniors 0, Clyde 0, Annan Athletic 2, Clydebank 1, East Stirlingshire 1, Cumbernauld Colts 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 1, Dumbarton 1, Tayport 0, Edinburgh City 1, Stirling University 0, Elgin City 0, Devon Vale 0, Musselburgh 1, Forth Athletic 0, Nairn County 0, Turriff United 2, Spartans 0, East Kilbride 1, Stranraer 2, Glenafton Athletic 0, Tranent 0, Dundee North End 0, and Wick Academy 0, Benburb Juniors 0.
Scottish football lives here.
This is Open All Mics from Sports Sound.
Go! Go! From BBC Radio Scotland.
Welcome back to Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland. Straight to the game at the Falkirk Stadium. Ian McCall.
Hi, Kenny, we're not started yet.
No, I'm just going to bring you in because Michael's with me here.
No, you're not. No, because you're watching the replays go through. You thought that was the game starting again. No. But it's the replays from the first half.
I know, but
No. You're trying to cover yourself.
No, you were
caught in the middle here.
You were pointing at me, suggesting you've had another look, and you're now adamant. I want to bring Ian in.
I was adamant before. I mean, honestly, Collie, it is a stonewall penalty.
So the Falkirk player should have been.
And he would have been sent. And he would have been sent off as well.
Game changer then.
Would have been sent off. Penalty kick, and Wilson would have got a second yellow card. I mean, exactly as we thought. Hamilton gets to the ball first, and not only is it that he gets to the ball first, the Falkirk attacking player Wilson goes to kick it. He doesn't see Hamilton coming in. And he catches him on like his hamstring, the top of his hamstring, like his glute. It's so clear.
Surely they'd have seen that in VAR, you'd have thought.
Well, that's why we're waiting for an update from Pablo de HQ.
Do you think it'll come?
That's under pressure.
Andrew Dallas is the VAR.
It's a shocker.
Like, you can understand maybe Ross Hard referee missing it because it's
Yes.
Collision.
I was going to say that.
There's no way VAR can miss.
I was going to say, I mean, for me, I still don't think had Hamilton got the ball and the Falkirk player Wilson kicks him, I still don't think that should be a yellow card for Hamilton,
right?
And be given as a free kick. But you can understand why, in the heat of the moment and as quick as it is, that the referee saw that as how it transpired. There is no excuse for VAR. That is what VAR is for, to look at that and go, actually, understandable, maybe you got that one wrong, but here's the right decision.
And the opponents of VAR will look at this and say, if you can't get that right, what is the point of VAR?
Yep.
It's pretty simple. Ian called it in real time, and it's very, very clear.
Ian, see when the players were, and then, well, more importantly, the management staff were leaving at half-time, did you notice any sort of complaints there straight over the referee at all, or do you think they've just accepted it and moved on?
No, you didn't see any complaint, even at the time.
Yeah.
If it was, I don't think it was obviously as clear as Michael is saying in VAR.
The Dundee players were complaining. They saw it.
They complained and then walked away a wee bit, but usually when it's really, they're going to get round the referee and spend a couple of minutes getting round the referee and go absolutely. I mean, they realised something was up, but I don't think they realised, obviously, it's as clear as you guys in the studio are saying.
Simon Murray, when you watch the replays, he is the one, obviously, as the captain. He's over speaking to the ref. Yeah. He's actually motioning, like, the TV sign. Like, VAR needs to look at this. And Ethan Hamilton and him and I are talking. Ethan Hamilton and Simon Murray are talking. And they, two of them, you can see they're saying it's a penalty.
So it's actually a VAR issue then.
Horrendous VAR issue.
It's a tough one for the ref to see.
It is. Totally. It's a VAR issue. Totally.
Yeah. I've got a certain degree of sympathy with the ref, even though I don't agree that what he sees and thinks happened. I still don't think that's a yellow card.
He was a bit quick with the yellow, wasn't the yellow was out like a flash.
But it's 100%. This is an issue for VAR. They should have looked at it. They should have cleared it up. The penalty should have been given, and unfortunately Wilson should have been sent off.
Right, we await the update from VAR HQ. I can't wait now for that to come in and to get Michael's reaction to it. That's going to be really interesting.
I think internet and 4G, 5G services have all of a sudden gone down perhaps.
Kenny, that's us kicked off now.
Right, you're underway. Okay, listen, that was a big moment in that first half. Just a replay coming in here. I'm just interested to see, Ian, what the oh, wait a minute. Have we got it?
Update, yeah.
Right, here we are. Here we go. Right.
VAR Central Command. We can only agree with Mikey Stewart. This was absolute gobbledygook.
Nice one, Tom. Nice one, Tom. You had us all going there.
No, that actually is it.
Right, in the Scottish Cup, Musselburgh Athletic won, Forth Athletic won, equaliser for Forth right at the start of the second half. Right, let's take a wee bounce around the grounds, and we're going to get back to Aberdeen. I want to get their fans getting in touch. I want to get Tom and Michael's thoughts on that. But first of all, Tannadice, Alan Preston, what's happening?
We have just started 30 seconds into the second half. I would expect United to play better. St Mirren must be kicking themselves that they've gone in level. But it's a tale of two keepers, both making mistakes. First one for Nindalu for the header, the second one for Saps for free kick from George. Dundee United have to play better, and I'm sure they will. 1-1 at Tannadice.
Thank you to Alan Preston. Next up, Almond Vale. Livingston at home to Motherwell. Stephen Craig in there. A big second half required from Jens Bertolascu's side, Stephen.
Yeah, it is, Ken, and you asked me, would they change or what would he change?
Here we go, chance! Oh, keeper makes a good save. I think this time. Kamara, he gets played through. He's played well for United. I think the goalie, he gives a big kick. I'm sure the keeper saves that.
Waiting for a wee replay of that coming
really
through.
Good run from him.
He's certainly claiming for it. He's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's done well, actually. He's been one for United, being a bright spark, but I think that's a corner. The referee's got that one wrong.
I think it squirms under the keeper.
Here we are here. Not sure about that one. Right, back to Stephen Craig. Stephen.
Yeah, you're asked about change and what the manager would change. Well, he's got the half-time, and there's nothing really changed in the second half. Same lineup, same style of play, slow, a little bit laboured at times, and all it does, as I've said it before, it allows Livingston to get behind the ball, and because the pitch is slow and sticky, you can't move the ball at any kind of tempo, so Livingston are turning the ball over so easy. There's Silla again. I mean, Davy Martindale spoke ahead of the game and putting Silla back into midfield, and I think it's been a right decision. He's been strong in there, he's broke play up, he's run from midfield, and Motherwell just really lacking that cutting edge and any real impetus at the top end of the pitch. So they're going to have to up their game, no doubt about it. He's got Callum Slattery on the bench. He's got Callum Hendry on the bench as well. So he's got options now. He may have to go there, but Livingston more than comfortable in leading by a goal to nil.
Ian McCall, we've spoken a lot about Dundee today. What's been missing from a Falkirk perspective?
Well, forward momentum. I mean, they've dominated the ball well enough, but they've not really been able to hurt Dundee. They've not been able to get behind them. Obviously, there's not a lot of space because Dundee retreat and defend reasonably deep with 5 across. But Clark Robertson does organise them very, very well. Falkirk haven't changed. They won't change. They're still going to 4-2-3-1. John's got every right to do that. He's had 2.5 years of almost constant success. And I think Dundee, because they are winning, will continue to play the 3-4-3 becoming 5-4-1. So it'll be an interesting 45 ahead. Falkirk just need to be a little bit more dangerous. They need to take care of things in the final third of the park, and maybe their wingers need to be a wee bit more proactive, a wee bit more positive. I think they're the first players that John might change if it stays like this.
Stirling Albion have come from behind in the Scottish Cup away at Caledonian Braes. They're 2-1 ahead there in that game. Chick, you cover a lot of championship games for us. Is this one of the most impressive performances you've seen today?
Yeah, I've been raving about St Johnstone.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Stephen.
Yeah, no, I've seen McCall. Calvin Miller's just, I mean, I don't know what McCracken was doing in the goal. He's passed it straight to the Falkirk player. Calvin Miller's just cutting onto his left foot and tried to curl it in the far top corner, and it's hit the top of the crossbar. I mean, that should give Falkirk a lift, but what John McCracken was doing, no idea.
Yeah, decent opportunity there. Back to you, Chick.
Yeah, I've been raving about St Johnstone. I saw them day one against Partick Thistle. There's another great effort. Another great effort. The first really from Morton. Michael Garrity with a curling left foot effort. They have dismantled Morton this afternoon. I saw them in day one, Kenny, against Partick Thistle. Immediately tipped them to win the championship.
They're all over the place again. Something out of a chance. The keeper and Esselink, they're all over the place. They're running into each other.
Rovers! They take the lead. It's been a scrappy second half, but it's Dylan Easton, the best player on the pitch, cuts inside. This time, I think it takes a deflection. He gets his shot off. The ball flies past Josh Clark, and the goals. It's Raith Rovers 1, Partick Thistle 0.
Yeah, a last and opening goal in that game. We'll get to the game in Dingwall in a couple of minutes' time. But Alan, just clear up what you're telling us there. More disarray at the back for United.
It's just a ball into the box, and the centre half, Esselink and the keeper, they just run into each other. The ball goes up there. Eventually, it's cleared, and it's now gone out for another corner to St Mirren. But the keeper is unconvincing for me.
Right, Ian Auld, let's get back to the game there in Dingwall. A real glimmer of hope towards the end of the first half there for Neil Lennon's side.
Yeah, indeed, Kenny. Yeah, they've started the second half poorly, to be honest. Ross County have upped the ante in the opening 5 minutes so far. UNO2 has come on for Keith Bray for Dunfermline, but disappointingly for the home side, Jordan White took a real bad head knock just at the end of the half, so he's been replaced by Nicky Clark. But White and Hale have been tremendous for Ross County this afternoon, so a bit of a blow for them. But I expect a really intriguing second half, especially with that Andrew Todd goal just before the half-time whistle.
In the Scottish Cup, Dumbarton 2, Tayport 0, and staying in the Scottish Cup, Trinent 2, Dundee North End 0, and in League 1, Kelty Hearts 0, East Fife 2.
Kenny, sorry,
yes.
What are they claiming, Craigs?
Well, some sort of penalty kick, Michael, and it's been announced as far as
wait a minute, that last
Macaulay Tate, yeah.
Right at the end there.
They were adamant that, I have to say, it's Motherwell's best move of the game. Ball out the mass with AC, flicks it around the corner to Stephen O'Donnell, he overlaps, goes down the right hand side, pisses the ball in. Apostolos Damavlopoulos puts the ball down to Sayad. He dummies with the right foot and has a shot. Motherwell adamant.
What's he doing?
That's a penalty, Craigs.
Yeah, the Motherwell players were adamant right away.
That's madness.
I know you don't always go by players' reactions, Michael, but 3 of them went to the ref and said penalty hand.
And by the way, you also look at Macaulay Tate's reaction. As soon as he did it, he was sort of like, yeah. I've got no idea what he's doing. He's basically...
Is he trying to get out of the way, or what is it?
But no, it's up in the air. He hits it when he's on.
Oh, it's a goal! Dunfermline are back on level terms. It's Barney Stewart with the goal. Tremendous work down the left-hand side by Andrew Todd. He cut the ball into the box. Really soft defending from Ross County, and Barney Stewart taps in, and the 500-odd Pars fans over on the far side in full voice.
Wow, what a comeback there, and a big moment through Almond Vale. Stephen Craigan.
Yeah, Nick Walsh is over to the screen to have a look. He's studying it carefully. Both benches are a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious. Davy Martindale shaking his head. Clearly he can see from where he was it wasn't a penalty.
It won't take.
He's the halfway. He's 40 yards.
That is mental.
The more I see it,
it will not take long. That is the most crazy.
It's
kind of like that's.
Craigs, have you seen it?
Your head around that.
Craigs, honestly, He looked, I mean, it's the most blatant like handball you will ever see.
Why is he still at the monitor?
Yeah, he's awarded it.
Yeah,
Penalty kick to Motherwell might respond.
That is amazing.
Davy Martindale's going to be very interesting post-match with his media conference there. Imagine getting in that dressing room after doing that. They don't go on to win this game because they were in control through there. A big moment for Motherwell. They've got that Scottish League Cup semi-final to look forward to next weekend. This is a big moment through in this game, and Livingston players going down in the box trying to stall things there, Stephen.
Yeah, it is. It's Robbie Muirhead. He's gone down. I think he was down. He got back up. The penalty was given, so he sat back down again.
Brilliant, isn't it?
He's clearly trying to play mind games. Apostolos Tomatolopoulos, he's got the ball in his hands. It will be delayed, I'd imagine, for another 2 or 3 minutes, just to try and put an extra little bit of pressure on him. It's a huge moment for Motherwell. They get back level in the game. Suddenly, they have the head of steam. They have the little bit of momentum, feel-good factor of going level in the game. Whereas Livingston, up to this point, have been.
Has he shown Macaulay Tate a yellow card?
I don't even know, Michael. I didn't see him. No, I think he just gave the penalty kick.
That to me is a blatant yellow card.
It has to be.
I mean, honestly, when you see it, it is the most blatant handball you'll ever see.
What about Robbie Muirhead? I mean, this is a bit poor, is it not?
Yeah, sorry, I've just had it. Charlotte beside me is giving me a look at the phone. Ridiculous how he just puts his hand out, his arm out, and you think he might get away with it.
It's kind of in volleyball.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But the fact that, you're right, Michael, the fact that it took 2 or 3 minutes on the pitch, Nick Walsh was over for a good minute and a half. You would think, seeing that first time penalty.
Yes, that's the thing. Just a couple of goals quickly. Brecon City 1, Dundonald Bluebell 0 in the Scottish Cup. Just confirmation that goal. Dylan Easton, Wraith Rovers 1, Partick Thistle 0, and Cove Rangers 2-0 up away at Montrose, and just confirmation that equalisers, a Conor Randall own goals come down as up there in Dingwall, 2 apiece. Over to you, Stephen.
Yeah, sorry, Lewis Smith has just come on to replace Robbie Muirhead. I think he's been a big miss for Livingston. He's the one player you think can light the game up. Well, he just jogs towards the 18-yard box. Apostolos Tomatolopoulos, hands on his hips, just waiting for Nick Walsh's whistle to go. He's just about to step up. He goes with a stride. He puts it into the bottom left-hand corner. Motherwell are level. A penalty out of nothing. Ridiculous decision by Macaulay Tate.
Ian McCall, go!
Yeah, it's an equaliser for the home side. It looks like Williams gets on the end of a terrific free kick. I mean, it was a free kick from about 30 yards out, just driven to the back post. Can't really tell if Ross McIver got the final touch, but I think it was driven in by Wilson. I can't say it's been coming, I've got to say, because there's not been a lot happening, but they've got their equaliser on the home side. It's Falker 1, Dundee 1.
I think it is McIver gets on the end of it. I think he seems to be the one that's run away with the ball.
That was a penalty. Martin should have a penalty kick there for me, and there's another challenge in the middle of the park. Well, it's still 4-0 to St Johnstone. Morton have done a little bit better in the second half, but for me, that was inside the box. That should have been a penalty kick.
OG, it's an own goal actually. It looks like off of Clark Robertson as the ball gets fired across. I'm not sure whether McIver actually gets a touch or not, but certainly it goes in off of Clark Robertson.
Does Clark Robertson get a touch?
It's a great connection on it, actually.
Yes, yeah, he does. But it's not great. You see when the ball's getting flung in, I don't know whether it's Dre Wright that's at the back post and he gets pinned and he's not able to get back in and cover.
Ross McIver's just hit the inside of the post, nearly get the follow-up. It's all Falk. It was a brilliant ball into the box by Keelan Adams, and Ross McIver got across his man. From my angle, I thought it was going in, but it's just drifted onto the post, and he's tried to get it off the post, couldn't go on it. It's still 1-1.
Right, so actually 1-1 in all 3 games in the top flight this afternoon. Let's get back to Alan Preston up there at Tannadice. Dundee United against St Mirren. What's the latest, Al?
It's much more an even game. St Mirren had the better of the 45 minutes, Kenny, in that opening period. We went in level. That's much more an even game. United have come out. Kamara had that chance early on at the start of the second half. It's still to settle down here. 1-1 as we say.
Right, thanks to Alan Preston there. So very much game on through Almond Vale. Stephen Craigan is there for us.
Yeah, it is indeed, and Motherwell have actually made a couple of changes the minute the penalty kick went in. Paul McGuinness replaced Liam Gordon. He was booked 5 or so minutes ago. He had a really hefty tackle in Jeremy Bokila, and he was given a yellow card, so I think the manager's just decided to take him off. But also Tawanda Maswanisi's gone off, so Callum Slattery's come on. I think he's been a big miss, Kenny. He was one of the key players in the early part of the season with regards his creativity and just everything he brings to the game. So hopefully Motherwell now, well, they will certainly be hoping that they can go and get a winning goal, because they desperately need to win. But of course Livingston have plenty to play for themselves, but still 1-1.
Dundee are now down to 8th place.
It's nuts, isn't it? It's so tight.
This is ridiculous.
It's really good. Just more goals coming in the Scottish Cup. Clyde 1, Annan Athletic 2, Taylor Sutherland pulling one back for the home side, the Rochlinec Talbot 3, Gretna 2008 0, Brecon City 2, Dundonald Bluebell 0. That's you right up to date with all the latest goals, and the home side very much on top now. Ian McCall through at Falkirk.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it comes from John McCracken's, he's just knocked the ball straight to Calvin Miller, and it's, Calvin Miller's hit the bar, the crowd's got up. Since then it's been all Falkirk. Obviously Clark Robertson, it was an own goal. They're in again here. No, Wilson nearly got through, but yeah, it's all Falkirk now. Dundee look rattled, they've lost their shape a little bit. Obviously Ross McIver hit the post 2 or 3 minutes ago. Falkirk look like they're in the ascendancy, and they need to try and get the second goal to try and win the game.
It is amazing how just a poor bit of play for the goalkeeper like that.
That's exactly what started it, Michael.
Yeah, under no
chance,
under no real pressure, he just needs to clear his lines, and all of a sudden the momentum is shifted.
Right, do you know what? We're going to go on telly at 12:30. So let's get this Aberdeen chat out of the way. It's quite interesting. So Kevin Smith, who raised the original point, he's got back in touch.
Do you not have it on the telly, like?
I think the listeners, the viewers in the telly would probably just want to concentrate on the game. So what we're going to do here is just do this quickly. So Kevin Smith has come on, Tom, back on to say, look, he's an Aberdeen fan. Tell Tom I'm referring to the last 12 months in general. Stan Free Scott, an Aberdeen fan, says, Jeezy peeps, opinions yes, but what a lot of guff on the show. The Dons, Thursday aside, have upped it over the last 5 to 6 games. We have the toughest Euro draw, and we'll be back starting at it tomorrow again. As for changing the rules, that's in terms of what Rory was bringing up, but who gets that spot? Hibs haven't played one Euro group game. Gee, says Stan Free Scott. It's a bit of, I mean, listen, Stan Free Scott is a fellow Aberdeen fan that is saying that he thinks it's over for Jimmy Tulane. Right.
I think that's a fair reflection of the Aberdeen fans. I think it's really interesting to hear those two opposite sides of the argument. Aberdeen, they've won a couple of games in the league. It's the softest of soft recoveries. Jimmy Tulane needs to get his skates on, because overall, I mean, Kevin is right. The overall record over the last season has been really, really poor.
He's got to get his skates on. He's got another 3 windows, Tom.
Well, do you want to explain?
It's a project. It's a project.
It's a project, yeah.
It is a project.
And what was he saying about the Hibs and Aberdeen? Sorry, it was difficult to hear him with the line.
He said, sorry, so Rory, you're bringing up the point, about should Aberdeen have gotten, should it be the Scottish Cup, that gets that route as opposed to the league position. So Stan Free Scott saying, as for changing the rules, Hibs haven't played one European group game.
Yeah, but it's a moot point, doesn't make it.
Kenny, might have gone ahead here, but I thought it was going to be an obvious offside. Eli Just went down the right hand side, squared the ball to Apostolus to Marilopoulos, and he rolled it into the empty net. But there is a VAR check. I thought in real time he looked way offside, which is why it didn't really come in, and the flag did go up. But Nick Walsh has held play up, so you'll get a better look than what I will.
Well, it's difficult because it's obviously.
Right, hold on a second, check just for a potential. Just have another look at this replay.
It's not that. It's obviously when Just running through. The problem is, Craigs, it was like the wide angle, and it's on one of the corner screens. So we're just waiting to see a replay of it.
Sorry, it's been confirmed as offside. Nick Walsh has put his hand up, but again, just in real time, I thought he looked 5 or 6 yards at least offside. So I thought it would have been clear cut. But VAR obviously wanted to look.
I think we've got some guidance coming through from VAR HQ. Tom English, so you can take that away. This will be. And you'll get the camera on Michael Stewart's face here. Let's get ready for this.
Okay, Michael, are you sitting comfortably?
Yeah, very much so.
Are you sure?
I'm waiting for the admission of guilt.
There's no mention of gobbledygook here, Kenny.
Right.
No mention. In the opinion of the referee.
Oh, look at the offside. Look at that offside.
Tight.
Was that offside?
Well, it must be.
Well, let's deal with one thing at a time.
We'll deal with this gobbledygook, and then we get to that gobbledygook.
In the opinion of the referee and VAR, the challenge by the attacker was reckless.
I get lost. I mean, that is the biggest load of gobbledygook I've ever heard.
I can only.
Unfortunately,
I have to agree with Mikey again.
The challenge of the attacking player. The challenge of what? The challenge of winning the ball and not touching the opponent.
And it's Paul Hanlon who nicks in at the back post, unmarked, to tap in with his foot. The instep volley from about 5 yards out. Wraith Rovers 2, Partick Thistle now.
Really sore one for Thistle this afternoon. Wraith Rovers 2-0 up, Michael.
That makes me angry. And do you know why as well? Read that out again. In the opinion of the referee and VAR.
The challenge by the attacker.
How about you tell us your opinion? Because that clearly tells you they don't agree with it. Come out and say it. Come out and say, right now, they've got it wrong.
So you think this is one that will, when we get to the VAR review show?
1,000,000%.
I'd imagine
1,000,000%. And to come out and just say that's like a holding statement. It's rubbish. It's absolutely disrespectful to the punters that are at that game. That is utter garbage. Honestly, the challenge of the attacking player. He doesn't challenge the defending player. He wins the ball and is kicked by the opponent. And he's given a foul against them. Honestly. And from Dundee's perspective, they're 2-0 at half-time. The game's completely different against 10 men. Now they're 1-1.
Well, listen, we'll hear from both managers after the game. Very interesting to see what Stephen Presley's got to say in terms of that one. Ian McCall, what's actually happening on the field now?
Well, the game's calmed down a little bit. Dundee have come a wee bit back into it. There's been no chances at either end, but that 5-6 minute flurry from Falkirk, it looked as if they were going to score. They had 2 or 3 half-decent chances, some good... Dundee can get their wide players in. They're just starting to come back into the game, and it's settled down a wee bit. But the crowd at the Falkirk Stadium were really, really up there just before Falkirk scored, and then for 5 or 10 minutes after it. And that seems to make a huge difference to these Falkirk players. But it's still 1-1, Kenny.
What about the challenge from the defending player? You know, they talk about this in such abstract fashion, as if like, oh well, it was just the attacking player that done something. The attacking player won the ball.
There was nearly a winner. There was nearly a goal for Falkirk. The second goal. It was Calvin Miller from the deck. You can have a look at it in the studio. I'm sure he was lying down when he kicked the ball, and he's nearly stuck it in it. And there's another good save by McCracken. It's all Falkirk here. The crowd are right up, and they've got a corner. It's still 1-1.
Yeah, just watching that one coming in there. Big goal in League One. Peterhead 0, Inverness, Carry Thistle 1. Billy Mackay on 67 minutes. Just confirmation coming through that second goal for Wraith Rovers at Starts Park. Wraith Rovers 2, Partick Thistle 0. Paul Hanlon on 67 minutes. Let's get back to Chick Young. Is it all one-way traffic down there at Capello, Chick?
Yeah, Morton have got themselves a little bit back into it, but there have been 2 blows for St John's. I was about to tell you there, Kenny. They're probably their 2 best players in the day. Jamie Gullen, who's been absolutely outstanding, and Josh McPeak, both injured and replaced by Kai Fotheringham and Sven Sprangler. But I cannot see Morton getting their usual draw. It's still 4-0.
There's time yet, shit, there's time yet. Right, it is honours even through there at Almond Vale. Livingston against Motherwell. Who would you tip to go on and win this one, Crags?
Well, it's incredible. The goal has completely galvanised Motherwell. They're sharper in their play. There's an edge to their play. They're running forward. They're being a little bit more purposeful with the ball. One of the criticisms in the first half, Kenny, was every time they turned the ball over, their first choice of pass was either square or negative. Whereas now when they turn the ball over, they're looking to play forward. The game's become a little bit stretched. There's more space to play in. Livingston are a little bit more disjointed at the back, so it's given Motherwell more opportunities to try and be creative. But still, they don't get enough shots on target. They don't get enough shots away. For all their play and their possession, they don't really test the goalkeeper. So they're going to have to try and add to that. But you think from this moment on, Motherwell certainly are in the ascendancy.
Dundee United are going to have to make a change. Lucas Stevenson, he's not been right since that knock in the first half. I think this will be a concussion sub for him. He just didn't look himself. He came out and the doctors immediately told him to go off. So he's walking down. United will need to put someone on in his place. Still 1-1 here at Tannadice.
Alan, you were saying earlier on St Mirren had the better of it. Would you say that they're unlucky to be in level terms here?
Without a doubt, and if I'd now had the better of the second half as well, when that was all going on, Gogic chased one down, Phillips volleyed over, and Bacchus had a volley just wide of the target as well. St Mirren have been the better side in this for the majority of this match so far, Kenny. United are still in it.
I sincerely hope it's not a concussion sub, Alan, because if that is a concussion and it's gone that length of time undiagnosed, then somebody is messed up in a major way.
Yeah, well, it just looked like that to me because he got that blow, Tom, as you know, in the first half.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. He didn't sit down. He wasn't holding anything. He just didn't look himself.
That's worth following up on, I think, asking for a bit of clarity around what actually happened to him there.
Goal for Ross County, Kenny. Ronan Hill. Inside the 6-yard box, the ball's ricocheted around. Declan Gallagher had one cleared by the Dunfermline defence, and it's landed to Ronan Hale, and he smashed it past the goalkeeper from close range. I tell you what, Dunfermline will feel really unlucky because they've been the better of the two sides since pulling back on level terms. Ross County up the other end, are back in front.
Right, big goal up there, and was that another chance elsewhere?
A chance for Livingston, really good play. Silla again, little reverse pass into Scott Pittman in right hand side of the box. Fizzes it across goal, and Terry Yengi, who's on as a sub, just can't get a touch on it. So good response from Livingston, but still 1-1.
Right, our old friend Gary Flossie, Aberdeen fan, has been in touch. The Dons fans that are coming on saying Jimmy's time are up. They are an absolute joke. Jimmy will get us back up and running. Interesting debate among the Aberdeen fans this afternoon on Sports, and plenty more to come on that in the coming weeks. Of course, Aberdeen in action tomorrow, 3 big games on Sports Sound tomorrow. All the action kicks off at 11:30. Join the team for that. We are on right through until 7 o'clock on BBC Radio Scotland today. The fans will join us between 5:30 and 7 o'clock. I've got a wee challenge. I've got Michael up against one of the fans with a challenge. Kelly Cates choosing music. A great story about her dad, Kenny Dalglish, of course. A song that they sang, the Liverpool players, in the tunnel ahead of a big European game. And also just a wee surprise choice from her today. And this is an interesting one. She picked a song, so you want to switch this off after a couple of minutes. It's her dad singing a duet with a fellow Scotland international. Stay tuned for that. It's an absolute belt. It's a dreadful song, but it is a good story. Stephen Craigan.
No, that's me.
Oh, sorry, I keep getting mixed up. Sorry, Al.
That's all right. It's an overhead kick, actually, by Esselink. It comes into the box and he just tries overhead kick wide of the target. Still though, United, if they get something out of this, it's a smash and grab as far as I'm concerned so far.
Yeah, certainly sounds it. Let's then get to Stephen Craigan. What's happening through Almavale, Stephen?
Yeah, it's finely poised, Ken. It's exactly what you want this Saturday afternoon. A game that's finely poised. Both believe they can win it. Both probably feel as if they could lose it as well. So whoever's got a little bit of quality. Livingston certainly look to have the physical edge on Motherwell with regards to set plays, but in general playing Motherwell have been tidier with their play. They look more comfortable there, but having the likes of Terry Yengi, Daniel Finlayson as well, Mo Silla, and you've got Danny Wilson, good height, good physical presence. If they can get enough bodies forward and get balls into the box, and they could cause a real... There's Yengi! Oh, is he go? Oh, how he doesn't score, I don't know. Oh my goodness, you get the ball cut under his feet. Went into the hands of Callum Ward. I thought he'd fumbled it, but that was the big chance that Davy Martindale was hoping for, and Yengi hasn't managed to put it in the back of the net.
Right, just hold fire on that, Steve. We're about to go on television, so I'll come back to you for that. We'll go around the ground today. We're on the radio right through until 7 o'clock. We'll get fans joining us, lots of them to discuss today. Michael Stewart will go over that horrendous he feels decision that was made at the Falkirk Stadium, so lots to discuss on the programme. We're on the telly just in the next couple of seconds time. It's going to be really interesting, lots to bring you on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, with you right through until 7 o'clock on the radio tonight. Welcome to viewers who have joined us on BBC One Scotland. As ever, no shortage of drama in Scottish football. So many talking points today. Michael Stewart and Tom English alongside me in the studio. Some really important games. Let's take a bounce around the grounds. First up, Tannadice. Alan Preston is there for us. Dundee United up against St Mirren.
Well, it's a tale of two keepers. St Mirren much better in that opening 45 minutes, and they took the lead. Kenny in 18. Declan John deflected cross. Kucherenko's all over the place in the goal. Flaps at it, and there's an Indaloo to head at home. St Mirren were all over them, but an equaliser came 2 minutes before half time. Shamal George, the goalkeeper, St Mirren, the ball's going into his box, but Niedershay rushes out his box and picks it up about 6 inches outside it, and from the free kick, Sapsford scored, put the ball into the keeper's side. St Mirren have deserved to be ahead. They'll be raging that it's 1-1. They've had 21 efforts at goal to Dundee United's 9. The score is 1-1 at Tannadice.
That was a big 6 inches.
Listen, that's going to be a sore one, you'd have to say, because we couldn't believe it, Michael, when we saw that unfold. What on earth the keeper was thinking about, and then he didn't cover himself in glory in terms of the equalising goal from the free kick.
No, he didn't. I think Alan was talking just earlier on about the fact that St Mirren are the side that have, over the course of the game so far, have been the ones that have been more dominant, but sitting 1-1 at the moment, and it'll be interesting to see how this last wee spell plays out. But the biggest thing to take away is what Tom was just mentioning a few minutes ago on the radio, was this potential concussion from Lucas Stevenson, because I hadn't seen the incident until the replay was run just as he was going off, and he does get absolutely clattered.
He does.
And he did look very groggy when he was going off, but it was such a long period of time after the incident.
I think we need clarification there, because he was down receiving treatment for a while. It looked like he might have broken his nose or a damage to his nose. But if Alan is saying it might be a concussion, we need to clear this up, because you cannot leave a player on a field if there's any, not to mind if there's a concussion, if there's a suspected concussion, you have to get him off. So I think we need to get clarity on what has gone on there.
We'll try and get that later in the programme. Let's then get to the game at Almondvale. Livingston at home to Motherwell this afternoon. Stephen Craigan is here for us.
Yeah, maybe a tale of two goalkeepers at Tannadice, but it's the tale of two penalty kicks here at Almondvale. It's 1-1. It was Livingston went ahead after 26 minutes when Liam Gordon fouled Jeremy Bokila. Bokila stepped up and sent Callum Ward the wrong way, and at that stage Motherwell probably had aged the game, but from then into half time I think Livingston were the much better side. Motherwell got the equalising goal just before the hour mark. It was a really strange decision by Macaulay Tate. It was a shot by Ibrahim Sayad, and for some reason Macaulay Tate struck his left arm out. It was a handball. There was a little bit of a delay, but the penalty kick was given. Apostolos Stomanolopoulos stepped up, and he sent Jerome Prior the wrong way as well. So the game's finally poised here with 15 or 20 minutes to go. It'll be interesting to see who's brave enough to go and get the winner. Livingston almost went ahead a couple of minutes ago. Terry Yengi got on the end of a... Sorry, I'm just watching Motherwell playing around the edge of the box. It frightened the life out of me. Yengi just couldn't get enough on a flick that was flicked onto him by... Yeah, sorry, playing on. Yeah, so it's 1-1 here, Kenny, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, Steve. Just want a couple of things. You know how much Motherwell Football Club means to you. Do you find them a frustrating watch?
Yes, because at times I think there's forward passes on and they want to go back and they want to go square and they want to be negative. For all their possession, I think they're sitting in 67% possession and they've only had one attempt on target, which is the penalty kick. So it tells you there has to be more of a cutting edge to their play. They need something at the top end of the pitch. It's nice to be pleasing on the eye, but ultimately at the end of the season you're going to be judged on points and winning games, and they haven't won enough.
And that penalty kick, Michael, was an absolute
Callum
gift.
Slattery should have
Another
scored.
chance.
Yeah, Callum Slattery should have scored. Really good play down the right-hand side. Stephen O'Donnell, Eli just as involved. And Slattery, all he's got to do is hit the target. For some reason, he flashes it way over the crossbar. Still 1-1.
Do you think, Stephen, that the fans are beginning to, while obviously appreciative of the quality of football, that they're getting a bit fed up now, that they want results?
I think it's probably 70-30 at the minute, Tom. 70% still hanging in there thinking, okay, it will come. And 30% probably the older brigade thinking, we need to win games. We've been around this club long enough, we've been around this league long enough that if you end up struggling to win games and you're playing catch-up, you come into the winter months, the pitches change a little bit, the conditions change. It can be very difficult then to go and pick up wins. So I still think he has the support of the fans, the majority of them anyway, but you have to win games and you have to win them quickly.
One win in 9 as it stands. I mean, it might turn this around now today, but 1 win in 9 for one of the most praised managers in the league.
Yeah, and that semi-final next weekend at Hampden, next Saturday, 5:30, Michael. Just talk us through that absolute gift of a penalty that got him back into the game through the Amon Vale. You ever seen anything like it?
Well, probably, yeah, but I mean, it's as blatant a handball as you're ever going to see. And I've got to be honest, I think where the officials are, the referee and the linesman, one of them should have at least been able to have seen that. I know his sort of body's in the way slightly, but from one of the angles of the ref or the linesman, you would have seen it, because it is the most blatant handball you're ever likely to see. The guilt is etched all over Macaulay Tate's face. The Motherwell players are adamant, and the fact it took just quite as long as it did, I think, is quite incredible. But thankfully, they got the right decision in the end, which has not been the case at every game so far.
Yeah, hold fire. Let's get on to that. Let's get to the big contentious decision of the day. That took place at the Falkirk Stadium. Falkirk at home to Dundee. Ian McCall is there for us. Bring us up to date, Ian, and what's been happening.
Well, it's still 1-1, but the whole flow of the game has changed in Falkirk's favour, albeit Dundee have got a free kick from a dangerous position just now. I mean, Dundee played well in the first half, took the lead. Congreve, terrific corner. Clark Robertson, they worked the same block as they did against Celtic last week, scored the goal, but they got a break. It was Wilson and Hamilton, both went for the same ball. And it seems, I have been told, that it's pretty clear that Wilson, who'd already been booked, made contact, so it should have been a Dundee penalty and a sending off, and it wasn't. Hamilton of Dundee got booked. But in the second half, it's been all Falkirk. They got it kind of stems from John McCracken, making a ridiculous kick out straight to the Falkirk player. Calvin Miller called it off the bar. Then they got a free kick round the back. Williams knocks it back across, and it looks like it's the same boy that scored the Dundee goal. Clark Robertson knocked in for an own goal. Since then, McIver has flicked one off the inside of the post, and Miller, when he was on the ground, nearly scored, just almost on the inside of the post. It's been all Falkirk in the second half, but at Falkirk Stadium, it's still 1-1.
That's worth pointing out, Kenny, the fact that, as much as we're sort of making the point, what is a ludicrous refereeing decision, don't take any away from Falkirk, because in the second half they've been very good. It's been one-way traffic, really, all flowing towards the Dundee goals.
Right, well, let's just clarify that for those joining us on television. We had a good debate, Michael, and you were very strong in your reaction to this. So, Tom English, we've had the clarification through from VAR HQ.
Yeah, it was deemed a reckless tackle by the attacking player.
It wasn't a tackle. It wasn't a challenge. It was nothing. So it's just total.
I think it's wrong on multiple levels. We all agree anyway.
See if it's that blatant as it is. And the fact that Tom's reached out for clarification, if they're not going to come back and just hold their hands up and say they've made a mistake, they should just shut up. Don't get back in touch. Go silent, because that is an insult. It genuinely is. It's an insult to anybody's intelligence that sees the incident, because it's total nonsense. Ethan Hamilton steps on, wins the ball, and he's kicked by the Falkirk player, Wilson, who's trying to clear the ball. He doesn't see Hamilton stepping onto it. He swings and kicks Ethan Hamilton.
So own it now, it's a mistake.
Yes,
own it now.
Or shut up. Don't get back in touch. If you're wanting to defend and cover for your officials until a later date, don't get back in touch, because that explanation is an absolute embarrassment.
It's a double whammy, isn't it? It should be a penalty, it's not.
Yeah.
It should be a red card, it's not.
Yeah. But credit to Falkirk, because they have done well in this.
That's important. Right, listen, we're covering 3 games in the Championship this afternoon. We've got the predictions from the guys at the start of the programme. Chick Young predicted a draw, a tight game down there at Capello. Chick Young, Morton against St Johnstone.
I'm not sure I predicted a draw. I just said that Morton had 8 out of 11 games this season which they had drawn. It's what I said. So anyway, it's not going to be a draw. I sliced this. It's 4-0 to St Johnstone at the moment. It's 4-0 at half time. It remains that way. The Diabate opened the scoring after just 5 minutes, and a double from Jamie Gullen. In the middle of that was one from Josh McPake. McPake and Gullen have consequently both gone off injured, but it's been a real performance by the league leaders today, this afternoon, and the extended goal difference, the extended points at the moment at the top of the table. And for poor old Morton, they've been torn apart. 4-0 it is at the moment. 4-0 it was at half time, and I think they just like to hear the full time whistle, Kenny.
Yeah, and Chick, to be fair to you predicted right in the start of the season they'll be title winners. You love what you've seen from Simo Valakari's side this season.
Well, it's the way things are going. If I said tomorrow was Sunday, check your calendar.
Right, okay, they're rampant this afternoon, Simo Valakari's side. I think a couple of incidents we'll just check in a few minutes' time. But let's just stay in the Championship. Raith Rovers at home to Partick Thistle. Of course, Partick Thistle, the nearest challengers to St Johnstone at the start of the day, but things not going according to plan for Mark Wilson's side. Rory Loy is there for us.
Yeah, indeed. Partick Thistle are back in the game now in terms of the way they're passing the ball and being progressive and moving up the pitch, but it's too little too late. As far as Mark Wilson will be concerned, because it was Raith Rovers who'd done the damage in the second half. The first one coming from Dylan Easton, who cut inside. It was a slight deflection on the shot, which took it past the goalkeeper Josh Clark on the goals, and veteran Paul Hanlon doubled their lead on 66 minutes when he floated into the box and put a left foot volley into the back of the net. A flashpoint from the first half could have seen Lewis Stevenson sent off with a pretty high challenge. Grant Irvin opted for yellow. Of course, no VAR in the Championship. So as we stand at the moment, it is Raith Rovers 2, Partick Thistle now.
Thanks to Rory Loy. Game of the day surely in Dingwall. Ross County at home to Dunfermline Athletic. There for us is Ian Auld.
Yeah, this one has been a really good watch, Kenny. Ross County, the home side, in the driving seat so far. The Staggies helped by racing into a 2-goal lead inside the opening 3 minutes. Scott Fraser drilling in from the edge of the 18-yard box, and then Ronan Hale robbed Chilakoa Millen to square for Jordan White to tap in. Andrew Todd headed Dunfermline back into the game just before the interval. An in-turn provider just after the half-time restart. He squared for Barney Stewart, who tapped in from close range. But the home side back in front. Ronan Hale taking advantage of a goalmouth scramble, an almighty goalmouth scramble. Ross County 3, Dunfermline 2.
Thanks to Ian Auld. Straight back to Tannadice. Big shouts to a penalty there. Alan Preston.
Never in a million years is it, but they're wanting one. Fata goes to the byline, cuts it back. Muller comes in, he takes a first touch, and then he goes down in the box. Too easy for me. The referee should wave play on here.
Having a wee look now. Tom English having a wee look at this one here as the ball comes in from the right hand side.
Muller's got up and sitting back down.
Oh, goodness sake. I mean, bit embarrassing claiming for that, is it not?
Well, he's just slipped, right? I don't think he's not looking for anything, or am I just naive? Yeah, no, he's trying to get a shot on goal. It's just a slip.
Footballers, huh? Footballers, Tom.
Footballers what?
Try anything to win a game.
I don't think he's tried anything now.
Exactly. Kenny's on his own.
He's going to have a look at it. The referee's having a look at it.
Wait a minute.
No way.
He's having a look at it.
Right, hold on.
I mean,
there's another angle here, Michael.
There must be another incident. Never mind another angle.
There has to be something else to this.
I think he's been caught in the shin, they're saying.
Because Miller just goes to try and take a strike at goal, and
so John Beaton's over right now at the VAR. Does
no
stand on him?
Gogic following through.
No way.
Wait, there. You're not on the top of his leg.
But I'm not being funny. Like, oh no, please go.
Wait a minute, Michael. Here, right there.
Catch him there,
Come on, Michael. He's on his knee.
I want to see another angle of that. See, even if Gogic does, as he's putting his foot down, stand or his shit, that for me is still not a penalty kick, because Muller has had the strike, him landing.
Penalty is given.
Wow.
And
I can see that.
Red card.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Oh my God.
You agree with that decision?
Sorry, before we go any further.
Now I can see it.
Before we go any further, 2 minutes ago, Kenny McIntyre's going, oh, footballers, footballers.
I didn't see the angle.
Oh, give me your nonsense.
So you're going to get new information means new perspective.
Yeah.
Like Gogic, Gogic has followed through and he's caught him there, Mike. Caught him.
Oh. But no, what you're suggesting is that he's like kicked him, he's done
No, he's just, it's clumsy, but he's caught him.
He's put his foot down and he's on the player.
On his shin.
But that's not a... no.
What have you seen? What have you seen?
You've got
Somebody tell me, because I've not seen it.
And that's the problem for the fans at the ground, Alan, isn't it?
You've got two players, Alan, who are both sort of stretching. Nobody's like swinging or challenging. Two players that are stretching for a ball that's been cut back and deflected, right? And Gogic, as he's stretching, and as Muller's stretched,
Michael,
his
let
foot...
me cut across you. Fatah's going to take this penalty kick. He's just been handed the ball. He comes up, sends the keeper the wrong way. United have turned it round.
That's not a penalty kick. That, to me, if you know anything about football and you look at that instant, that is not a penalty kick, and Gogic should never be sent off. All he's doing, no force whatsoever, he's stretching his foot out to try and get a touch on the ball, and his foot touches Muller's shin. That is not a penalty kick. It doesn't affect anything that Muller's done because it's after the ball's been kicked away as well. That is just a football contact and challenge that should be looked at and gone, okay, nothing in it, play on. It's not a penalty, and it's never a red card. It's a shocking decision.
We've been agreeing far too much today. We're now finding out.
So tell me how you think that constitutes a penalty.
Because he's caught him on the shin.
But not every. But not. There's no force in that.
You don't think it's dangerous?
There's
Michael?
no force. No. Because not every.
I think there's enough force for a penalty, Mikey.
Well, we disagree. We disagree because not every contact constitutes a foul, a penalty, or a yellow card or a red card.
I agree with that.
I tell you what we do. We had this earlier on, and you didn't agree with it, and I think Tom's definitely in agreement with you on that. We'll try and get some clarity from VAR HQ on this.
The reply to that.
Yeah, let's get that in, Tom. So we'll request that from VAR HQ, and we'll try and read it out. I will always try and read it out for those at the game. As you were saying, Alan, when you're at that game, you have no idea what's going on there.
Nothing at all. United fans, I think it went for a by kick, and St Mirren were about to take the by kick. All the players were getting up, and then eventually Muller just sits down and he touches his shin as if he's been caught on the shin, and then the referee comes over. To be fair, the referee looked at it very quickly and gave the penalty and the red card. They didn't deliberate for a while.
Alan, was there many Dundee United players that were complaining?
No, just the one.
And again, that's my point, right? When you're looking at that, there's nothing in it, and Kenny, you're talking about, different angle, different evidence, different view. But all you've seen differently, and by the way, we saw all the angles initially, is you eventually then go, he's actually maybe made contact with shin.
But he has.
Yes, he has, totally. But there's nothing in the challenge that is forceful. He's just stretching out, and it just so happens that as he's putting his foot down, his foot has gone on his shin. He's not kicked him, he's not tackled him. It's just a football contact, and that to me does not constitute being given a penalty kick. Never mind a red card.
But it's a
goal! What a goal for Motherwell!
Right, Stephen Craigan.
Cross from the right-hand side, Stephen O'Donnell. I'm not too sure who gets the first contact. Is it Callum Hendry? Puts it onto the crossbar, and I think Eli just gets down on the one knee for the rebound and just nods it into the back of the net. Oh my goodness, out of absolutely nothing. It's their second attempt on target. They scored the first one with a penalty, and the second one's ended up in the back of the net. 2-1 Motherwell.
That's a huge goal, isn't it, Stephen? Because they were struggling in that game. Gifted the penalty, of course. Nicely tucked away. This could be a huge 3 points, particularly with the semi-final next week. Looking at confidence.
Yeah, well, they've also got Dundee United at home during the week. They're winning against St Mirren, so that's another tough one to come before they get to the semi-final. But we said it earlier, to convince players of what you're doing, you've got to win games. They haven't been great in the second half, or certainly the last 15 minutes. They haven't been as fluid. It's been scrappy, it's been bitty. But can you dig a win from somewhere? Can you dig really deep and somehow turn a point into 3? If they draw on today, and they still could, that would be 6 draws from 9 games. That's nowhere near good enough. So if they win here this afternoon, it would be a huge boost for them. Might go on VAR side, there's a bit of checking on, I'm not too sure.
You'll be delighted to know that Faddy and Tom will agree with you two.
Is that right?
Listen,
they're in sports. Stephen Thompson, James McFadden are sports. They agree.
I think it's pretty obvious, to be honest with you.
Well, I completely disagree with all three of you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Right, listen, you can watch that in Sports Scene this evening, as Michael was saying. Stephen Thompson and James McFadden are labelled clueless by Michael.
No, I was labelling you two clueless.
By extension,
Rocket should be suspended for the game.
Right.
Rocket suspended for the game against Hearts unless they appeal it.
That's a good point, Alan. Yeah, he's a big player.
It's a long check here. There must be a bar. They're looking for something.
Well, they're looking at perhaps whether Eli just is offside, but correct me if I'm wrong, if it comes back off the bar, is he still...
Well, I think it's so confused. I'm not too sure if it's because of the header or when the cross first comes in, or is it off the crossbar?
It's when the cross first comes in and Hendry headers it just possibly marginally.
He's given offside. He's given offside.
That's a massive moment there. We thought Motherwell in front.
See, that's where, when you talk about VAR and you talk about offsides, and that's the one thing you say, oh, well, it's definitive. That to me is not, that's not football. That's where I've got an issue on. You take all the excitement out of a goal because somebody is a toenail offside when the ball is initially played in after.
It's the right decision, though, isn't it? That's the thing. It's the right decision.
It's the right decision with the current laws, but I don't think that is.
Would you?
Just.
I can't remember where you stand on VAR. Are you a bin it man?
I would either bin it or I would heavily sort of lessen its involvement.
See, Mikey, on the offside one, how do you fix that then? Because I don't disagree with you, but I just don't know how you fix that. You're either offside or you're not. So how do you put something in place where you can change that?
Goal in Falkirk Stadium.
Ian McCall.
And it's a winner for Falkirk. And it's Connor Allen, the young centre-back that's come into the team because they've got about 17 injuries at centre-back. And not kidding you, he watched this goal. I think he's beaten about 4 players coming from centre-back. And he's curled into the far bottom corner. Falkirk winning 2-1.
Back to Almonvale, Stephen Craigan.
Well, Eli just may have been... His goal was just allowed a minute or so ago, but it looks like he may now have got the winner. Brilliant play by Callum Slater. He drives at the heart of the Livingston defence. Lovely little reverse pass into the feet of Just, and he just puts his laces through it, smashes the ball right through Jerome Prior in goal, and Motherwell may now look as if they have a winner, but I'm sure VAR may just have a look in case.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely nailed on, but that looked at first glance there looked an absolute beauty, didn't it?
Well, Hughes finished it.
That'll be that then! Sybil with an absolute cracker for the second week in a row. He cuts it on his left foot and he bends it in off the post. What a wonderful finish. 3-1, game over.
Goals
I've
galore.
just seen the penalty. It is a penalty.
No.
Right, St Johnstone go that clear at the top of the table tonight. 3 points clear. They have demolished Morton. 4 goals to 0. 2-4 in the first half. Diabate with the opener. Jamie Gullen with 2 goals sandwiched in the middle was one from Josh McVeigh. Totally in control of this football match. Magnificent performance. No further goals in the second half. And St Johnstone top the championship clear by 3 points tonight. They win at Capello by 4 goals to 0.
These are not all outnumbering me.
Right.
My mate's messaged me and he's 100%.
Wow. We don't know if he actually exists. We don't know if he actually exists. Is he a real person?
You have a mate. That's the most unbelievable thing of the whole day.
Yeah.
Right,
I don't think it was a penalty either.
Right, Rory Loy, full-time score, Starks Park.
Yes, Red Rovers win by 2 goals to 0. They may have lost the last 3 by 2 goals to 0, but they've won here today and they did deserve it overall without a shadow of a doubt. A fair reflection on the game. A Paul Hanlon goal, rounded things off, snuck into the back post to put it into the net. Dylan Easton scored the first one. He was very good today, as were a number of his teammates. Deserving winners. Raith Rovers beat second place Partick Thistle by 2 goals to 0.
Faddy, you're too entrenched now. I don't know how you can't see that.
Yeah, Faddy.
You got a point.
Faddy on this and many other things is a wise voice.
You have time, Michael.
He's wrong, though. He's wrong.
To roll back on that one. So just confirmation that was an incredible run of incidents there right across Scottish football. So we had the full-time scorelines in the Scottish Championship. 2 big games involving the sides at the top of the table. So Morton 0, St Johnstone 4, Wraith Rovers 2, Partick Thistle 0, still playing Airdrie 1, Arbroath 0, and also still playing Ross County 3, Dunfermline 2. Let's actually get back there. Ian Auld is there for us deep into the closing stages, Ian.
Yeah, we're into 2 minutes of the added 5 on Kenny. There's been a few stoppages in the second half here, but as you'd imagine, both sides going for it. Ross County trying to get that decisive fourth goal, and Dunfermline throwing everything and trying to get an equaliser. It's probably been quite harsh on Dunfermline in the balance of the second half.
Right, there was an somewhat.
No, it's just like Scott Bain is right in front of the Dundee fans. Obviously, he left Dundee, I think, to go to Celtic. There's about a minute or 2 minutes to go, and he's getting absolutely pelted with things. I don't know, I can't see what it was, whether it was just a plastic bottle or stuff, but it was certainly full of a liquid. I've no idea what the liquid was. Don't ask me that.
No, having a look now.
Good effort, good save. Trapanovsky with a shot, tipped over. That penalty putting United ahead has really galvanised them. Got a brilliant third goal from Sibbald, and they're finishing this game with 4 minutes added on time on top.
Full time at Almonville, Kenny. Livingston 1, Motherwell 2.
What a manager, eh? What a manager. Oh, you guys writing them off.
Listen, that's a huge result. They've just seen the pictures coming in there from Ian's game at the Falkirk Stadium. Scott Bain, calling the referee over to throw some objects that were thrown at him back off the park, but it's been quite the turnaround there, hasn't it, Ian?
Yes, I'm just about to ask, where are Falkirk in the table as we stand away fourth? Right, okay. It's changed about 7 times in over 90 minutes. Right, the Falkirk have deserved it. They've played ever so well in the second half, and they got that break. But as Michael said, you've got to take advantage of the break, and they have done in the second half. They should have been down to 10 men. Dundee should have had a penalty, but they've taken advantage of that, and they're now winning 2-1.
Yeah, fans will join us on the radio once we go off television, on the radio right through until 7 o'clock this evening. First up actually tonight is a Dundee fan. Really interesting to hear what he has to say.
About an hour ago, Dundee were third in the league table. They're now 10th.
Third bottom.
Fluid, you might say.
Wow, it's incredible. That was an incredible burst of action there, wasn't it?
3 goals in about 30 seconds.
Dundee United are third now.
Yeah, I mean,
but it highlights how tight, obviously, the league is.
Yeah.
But the toing and throwing amongst all the teams is quite incredible.
Full time at the Falkirk Stadium. Falkirk 2, Dundee 1.
Ian McCall, let's just stick with you for a couple of minutes and get a bit of reaction from yourself, because in the first half you were raving with some of the play from the away side there. We've gone over the big incident in the game, but as you say,
Tannadice, Dundee United 3, St Mirren 1.
A lot of credit Ian McCall has to go to John McGlynn. He got his side back into the game and a vital 3 points.
Much, I think Dundee get the tactics spot on the first half. John plays the same way. He's not going to change, and some of the football he played in the second half, I do think John McCracken needed a boot up the because I think he got the crowd up, because he just played a simple pass. All he had to do was knock it along. Calvin Miller got it and curled it off the top of the bar. And I tell you what, when the crowd gets up at the Falkirk Stadium, they get right behind their team, and from then on you sensed Falkirk were going to come back and win, which they did do. But I'll tell you what, the goal from the young centre back, and I'm a hand up, it's the first time I've seen Conor Allen play in a first team game. I saw him playing a youth game at Rangers, but I mean he's taken, with no idea what he was doing up there. He took it on the right hand side, beat a man, beat another man, then dummied another man, and then stroked into the goal. It was just a magnificent goal and a fairy tale way to win the game for Falkirk.
Yeah, you can watch that goal on Sports Scene, BBC Scotland, 7:15 this evening. Stephen Thompson and James McFadden.
I'll tell you somebody that maybe isn't too best pleased with the refereeing performance at Tannadice as well. It looks as if Kerzo, the assistant manager, has had a few choice words with John Beaton as well.
He got a yellow card earlier on. Actually, remember, Michael, that the late winner last week in Paisley against Aberdeen, and the red cards were getting shown to the St Mirren management team there as well. So let's get back to Alan up there at Tannadice, Alan, because you were saying that the Wayside were dominating things, and it was just, again, a really poor decision from the goalkeeper, handed United away back. And as Ian was saying, then it's up to you to take the opportunity, and just like Falkirk did, United delivered.
Yeah, they certainly did, Kenny. Honestly, I couldn't see it coming. St Mirren were dominating, and when you look at the stats, all those stats don't win you games. They had double the shots.
Full time in Dingwall, Ross County 3, Dunfermline 2.
Yeah, they had double the shots, but United come out with the 3 points, and it's incredible stuff. They took the lead, St Mirren. Nindaloo with a header after a cross from John was flapped by Kucherenko in the goals, and then St Mirren had more chances to go in, even with a more advantage. before the 45 minutes was up. But in 42 minutes, Jamal George, for some reason, comes out of his box, not a lot, maybe an inch or two, but picks the ball up, and the assistant on the far side flags straight away, giving United a free kick and a lifeline back into the game, where Zach Samsford scores from the free kick from 18 yards and 2 inches. Into the second half, St Mirren again were still the better side going forward, but United rang the changes. They had chances, St Mirren, but in 83 minutes was the talking point. Fata, one of the subs, come on. He gets to the byline. Muller goes down in the box with a challenge from Gogic. I didn't see it. Replays have showed me that I think it is a penalty now. The referee pointed to the spot after looking at the screen of VAR and sent Gogic off with a straight red. He'll now miss the game against Hearts midweek. And then Sybil wrapped it up with a wonderful goal. Brilliant goal at Ibrox last week, and topped it off with a great week for him with another excellent goal, cut on his left foot and curled it in off the far post in the 90th minute. 3 defeats in a row now for St Mirren. United up to third. Final score at Paradise, Dundee United 3, St Mirren 1.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and I think, Tom, it's important to highlight Jim Goodwin. We love a good story in football. We all remember the pictures. We're in the studio when he was Aberdeen manager through Easter Road and him leaving the ground that day. He had a torrid time, but he's done a great job, hasn't he, at Dundee United, and he looks to have recruited really well this season.
Yeah, he's brought in some very, very good players, some exciting players, plenty of goals in the team, well organised side, and that's a big win for them, having gone 1-0 down. And they're up to third in the league. Okay, that'll probably change. Might change tomorrow. You never know. But it's in a great position, scoring lots of goals, probably conceding way too many for his liking. But 13 points after 9 games, it's a handsome enough total for Jim Goodwin. And he's got very adventurous players in this team. Loads of goals. If you can score goals in this league, you're going to do well.
Yeah, St Mirren not scoring enough goals. You're pointing that out early in the programme.
No, that's a big problem for them. Like as I said earlier on the radio, their foundation has been the defence, the solidity of their defence, not conceding any goals. That's fine as long as your defence holds. And today the defence didn't hold. Their lack of goals cost them. They've scored 6 goals in 9 games. They're now down to 9th place. I think St Mirren have got a few problems.
We're going to go to Livingston in just a second, and also we will do the classifieds for you. We'll have a look at the tables, as the guys were saying, chopping and changing all afternoon. Now, really respected former referee Bobby Madden had messaged me earlier on. I just spotted it now. He said, look, just booked into a hotel, stick on the TV to see you all arguing. Send me the Gogic clip. So Bobby's had a wee look at the Gogic clip. He says Michael can change his mind when he sees another angle.
I've seen all the angles.
And you're sticking with it?
Aye.
Right, okay.
There's no force in it.
It's
Is Bobby going to pass comment on the ludicrous decision that was made at Falkirk?
It's a sign of strength. No? It's a sign of strength, Mikey, to change your mind. Don't see it as a sign of weakness.
Aye, if you're wrong, Tom.
Right. It's an interesting one.
You change it when you're no wrong.
It's a sign of strength to admit that you might be wrong. I won't hold it against you.
As I'd asked you before, what constitutes that being a penalty kick? You tell me.
High.
High. It's on the ground.
No.
The fact that he's lying on his shin.
Yes, on his shin.
Right. So purely because he touched him on the shin.
I think it's more than a touch.
It's more of a touch.
Right. So tell me. Right. So what? You think there's force in it?
Yeah.
I think it's dangerous.
Right. Well, you watch it again. You show it.
Right. Okay.
You watch it again.
You
watch it again, and you tell me if you genuinely believe that there's force in that challenge.
Right, we'll have another. Actually, there is actually a clip. I've not had a chance to watch. There's a clip on my phone. We'll get a wee look at that. Bobby Madden has been in touch. You want him to look at the decision that was made as well, Michael, in the game at Falkirk Stadium.
And there's the thing. Ask Bobby the same question. What constitutes it being a penalty kick?
Right,
ask his opinion.
Right,
years and years of experience refereeing matches.
I'll try and find time to do that.
I'm not asking what constitutes his opinion being valid. I was asking what constitutes the challenge being a penalty kick and a red card.
Right, okay, Bobby, if you've got a chance, get back to us. It's good to get an insight into this.
If that was the logic that was following, I wouldn't even ask your opinion, Tom.
Right, for everyone that's been at the game as well, we'll go over this again. I think it's important when you get back in the car, you find out what's been happening, because the problem is, Alan touched on this at Tannadice. We had a Motherwell fan get in touch. He'll join us later. When you're at the ground, you have no idea what's going on. So we've got some clarity here. Whether or not our pundits agree, that's another thing. But at least we'll tell you what the officials, what their take has been on it. Let's then get to the game at Almond Vale. Livingston were at home to Motherwell this afternoon, and a big win. Stephen Craigan for their wayside.
It was indeed, Ken, and all the drama came in added time at the end of the game. Just to show, because Motherwell have probably played better this season than what they did. There were probably more opportunities created in the game. the Livingston goalkeeper didn't have a save to make. Motherwell had 2 attempts on target, there was 2 goals. So sometimes you got to find a way to win games of football, and that's what certainly Motherwell were looking for this afternoon coming here. Go right back to the start. Livingston took the lead after 26 minutes. Liam Gordon brought down Jeremy Bokila, and he stepped up and converted the goal. From then on in towards half-time, I think they were the better team, and if anything, they probably could have scored a few more. Stevie May had a chance. Robbie Muirhead had a chance as well. Motherwell got level just before the hour mark. Another penalty kick. It was Ibrahim Siad had the shot, and it was a blatant handball by Macaulay Tate. For some unknown reason, just stretched his arm out. It was always going to be a penalty kick. I'm surprised it took as long actually to be awarded, but Nick Walsh came along to the VAR screen, had a look, and gave the penalty kick, and up stepped Apostolos Diamantopoulos. He made no mistake from 12 yards. Teddy Yengi had a chance after a Mo Salah header. He just couldn't get enough power in the shot, and Callum Ward managed to grab it. It looked like it was going to edge towards a draw, which is not what Motherwell wanted, or probably what Livingston would have wanted at that stage. And then out of nothing, Eli Just put Motherwell ahead by 2-1, or so we thought. But Nick Walsh was called over to the screen. There was an offside given, and the goal was ruled out. But just another, probably 2 minutes later, Eli Just eventually got the winning goal. Callum Slattery got the ball in midfield, drove towards the centre of the 18-yard box, just slid the ball into the path of Eli Just. First touch out of his feet, and just put his laces through the ball. Hit the ball as hard as he could, and it rifled into the back of the net. Motherwell fans went wild. Livingston fans around me were devastated, as was Davy Martindale. He thought his side were going to get a point, and they end up with nothing. They still stay bottom of the table. Motherwell with their second win of the season. They climb into the top 6. Full time here at Almond Vale as Livingston 1, Motherwell 2.
Thank you to Stephen Craig. And right, we'll have the classifieds for you. We'll have a look at the tables. They've chopped and changed all afternoon. Just a wee reminder, we're on the radio right through until 7 o'clock this evening, so you'll get reaction from managers and pundits, and fans will join us tonight. So much for them to talk about, but the conversation will end in the next 9 or 10 minutes time on BBC television. So join us again on Radio Scotland if you want to stick with the debate. So much to talk about this evening. Also some music this evening on the programme. Kelly Cates, daughter of Kenny Dalglish, of course, choosing the music. And actually she chooses a song where her dad Kenny duetted with a former Scotland international. It's the most awful song, and Kelly admits that, but it actually charted. You'll never guess who actually he paired up with for that song. So stay tuned. All that to come on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. But for now, let's have a look at the classified scores, and then we'll go down the tables. Lots of chopping and changing this afternoon. So 3 games in